program. I do. Yeah, I guess we're live. Not yet. There we are. Boom. We are live.
Yes, we are.
So anyway, yeah, COVID. That was what else strange happened around? What
Everything
was
was
it?
strange during COVID. But you know
Well,
what's
for
weird?
everyone. Go ahead. Go ahead.
During COVID, like the 4 months I was at DAL in 2020, when COVID was like
Oh yeah,
first
I didn't
really big
even
and
think of
feared.
that. That's right. Yeah, you were there at the height of it, weren't you?
Well, dude, we were
Yeah.
almost unaware it was going on. Like, we
That
weren't
that
wearing masks at camp or
well,
anything.
that was a good thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That was a good thing. Go on.
No, that was
Uh,
it. I mean, just
oh,
like we
okay,
knew something was going on. We knew vaguely what COVID was because when we went to
okay.
town, everybody was wearing a face mask.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, dude, like life at DAL went on like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It was
Hmm.
actually nice.
No, I bet it was. I bet it
We were
was.
very sheltered there.
I gotta say, it's easy to say this now, but I'm telling the absolute truth. I really had no fear. But yet I saw the fear in my sister. I think going back to my mother's death, I probably told you this story. If I did, say, Chuck, you told me this story. But um we're there with her, and the nurses, it's getting, she left at like 7 in the evening. She said, if anything happens, because we knew she was close, okay? She said, call me. It don't matter what time. That's my job. And she was great. I still remember her name. Her name is Kathy. And I'm terrible at names, but if someone impresses me, I will remember their name. Anyway,
Yeah.
my mom passes away at 7:26 in the evening. So I call Kathy and I said, my mom's passed away, Kathy. She said, well, she did all the niceties. I'm sorry. And blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, she said, Chuck, I hate to do this to you. She said, but it's up to you. I've been exposed to COVID. Okay. I have to wait, what was it, 3 more days. And
Yeah, because
anyway,
I think it was a
there,
week of quarantine, right?
yeah, but there was no way she could come out that night. Wait, let me finish the story before you. So she says, but however, I told them how you feel about this disease and that you probably would have no fear of me coming. But I need you when I get there. If you decide, I need you to sign off that you wanted me there. Okay, I guess saying if I caught COVID or anyone in that, you're
Sure.
exempt. I don't know how they could prove such a thing anyway. Anyway, she says, or if you don't want me there, the next nurse that I guess, well, these were nurses and what do you call them? Whatever you call them, nurses that are almost doctors.
A
I
nurse
forget.
practitioner.
Thank you. The next one of those wouldn't be able to get there. Now you got to remember it's 7:26. It's roughly 8 o'clock. She says she probably wouldn't get there until 11:15. See, they have to come out and pronounce my mom dead. It's the law. So I said, Kathy, let me call you back. I said, the whole family's here. I'm going to take a vote. And I actually went in the one bedroom, and I said, look, half the family ain't afraid of this disease at all. The other half, you think the Black Death hit us or something. I said, so what I'm going to do is take a vote. I said, and if it comes out against you, I want you to know. And I did. I told her, I said, I want you to know that I'm voting that I want you to come. Not because it's convenient, because you've become a member of the family, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I have this vote. So I said, all those in favor. Anyway, the ayes had it that Kathy could come. Well, my sister voted against it. Okay. My niece, my sister's daughter, voted against it. Now, my sister's husband was there. Um, he, well, you got to understand, she wears the pants in the family.
Yep.
So I knew which way he had to vote if he wanted to have civil civility at his house. But it's funny, my daughter Kristen was there with her husband Nick, and of course they were rah rah dad. Michelle was there. Now by now you know who Michelle is.
Uh-huh.
But her husband wasn't there. However, this is nuts. This is nuts. However, my grandson was there, the one on the tall dude. So we gave him a vote. Everyone agreed he could vote, and that's good because we only won it by 2 votes. Anyway, as soon as the votes came in, I get on the phone with Kathy. Good news, Kathy. We want you here. My sister stayed maybe 10 more minutes, okay? And she was out of there. She didn't even, not that she had to be to say goodbye to the body. My mom's body was back in the bedroom. It's a
Yeah.
Catholic thing. You stay until the Undertaker. It's weird. Until the Undertaker. You say one last goodbye. You know what I mean? Then you
Yeah.
walk out of the room because you don't want to see them put her in a body bag and zip her up. Okay, so
Right.
then you leave. And anyway, it's just sort of a Catholic tradition if they die at home like that. Anyway, she wasn't there for that. And I could understand. I wasn't mad at her. Turns out, I mean, she held a good upper lip as far as not putting up I mean not showing that she was mad, right? Oh, that air conditioner feels good. Anyway, but here's what she does. She come to the funeral, of course, right? She goes to the dude, it's an hour ride to the graveyard, okay? So we get to the graveyard. Now my brother, my older brother, he paid for all the food. He said, "No, I don't want no one pitching in. I'm doing this for mommy. This is my way because I didn't get a chance." He was sick with something. He couldn't even visit her in his last days. He could not chance COVID. He didn't leave his house. He was actually taking a chance on the day of the funeral. He really was. I'm not defending him. I am defending him. He had a real cause to be concerned. Anyway, my sister, don't tell anyone. Her, and I love my brother-in-law, but he's another one that, yes, ma'am. And I'm sorry. Anyway, that's all I'll say about men that do that. Um, him, obviously, my niece, my 2 nephews, and my niece from Tabitha. It's hard for you to follow if I do all this. That's my sister's kid with the grandchildren. Anyway, I didn't need to go through all that. Thank you for bearing with me. They just disappear. We're all at my brother's house. Well, he actually rented a room at a restaurant uh, for this, and he knew the guy that owned the restaurant, so he told him when my mom does pass away, if you could sort of hold, I'll be renting anyway. They all leave, dude. Not even letting us know. So I must be honest with you. I didn't talk to my sister probably for 6 months after my mother died. I just thought that was just terrible. Anyway, that's
Those were
going
really
on.
hard, scary, confusing times for a lot of
They were,
people.
and I tried, and that's what I tried to, keep in the back of my mind. So that's probably why our estrangement I only lasted for 6 months. She actually called me and said, "I'm sorry." And I said, "Jane, let's just stop it here. You're forgiven. Let's not, please. I don't want to relive that day, you know." So,
That's
but
heartbreaking that
oh, it was
disease
COVID,
caused
man.
so much division in a lot of
Yeah,
families, especially politically.
yeah. Well, it wasn't a political thing here. It was fear. They wanted to put fear into some of the population. It worked. It worked with my sister. Um, yeah. So I don't think my brother-in-law was going to say yes to whatever my sister said. That I can tell you. So I can't say I blame him. So I mean, I don't blame him for nothing. But yeah, he's a yes man to my sister. Yeah. Anyway. So anyway, that's my ramblings about COVID. And then the guy that works on my car, he was they said he got the big C. We better watch how much we say that word. He got, I don't know what they're doing these days with it. Anyway, he got the big C so bad he had to be hospitalized. Now, when I say he's my mechanic, I have him inspect my car every year, and if I need an oil change, that sort of thing. But if it's computer work or something, I take it to a Subaru dealer, you know.
Yeah.
But it usually passes inspection. My point is, this poor guy, I find out, well, I knew his daughter because she worked at the business with him. She was like the receptionist. And that poor girl was in tears. She says, I said, "How's your dad?" You know, I was bringing my car in, and I guess the son-in-law was running things. It don't matter. She's sitting there. She goes, "Father Chuck." She goes, "They're saying my dad won't let." I always got to act out someone. She's in tears and says, "Father Chuck, they're telling me that my dad probably won't live through the night. They got him on a ventilator and all this." Anyway, he made it. So, yeah, he said, man, he's never been so sick in his life. He says he remembers being on the ventilator and all. It wasn't like he was in a coma.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
You know, it's weird. I haven't talked to anybody yet that remembers being on the ventilators.
Yeah, we're actually on them, or what do you mean?
Well, yeah, like the majority of the people I know of that went on the ventilators ended up passing away.
Hmm.
I don't think there's a very large
Oh, I see what you're
amount of
saying.
people who lived through it.
No, he made it. No, what I thought I did you see me bring water in here? That's
I
ridiculous.
know you said you were going to get water.
You know, I'm losing my mind. I put it back in the refrigerator. Oh, boy.
Oh man.
There. Now you can say, yeah, I saw you walk in with it. Where's the camera? There it is. Oh man.
Here's our brother Stump.
All right, back. You guys took a little
Wait,
break.
what you do? Go on a marathon run or what?
Oh, you guys weren't on the YouTube. You guys weren't showing up.
Well, we sent you the link. We were just talking backstage for a couple of minutes. But
Oh, I was waiting for you guys
I
to come on.
sent the link in Lupin's Discord.
I can't open Discord. I don't know what happened. I have to probably
Well,
put
you
it back
probably
in.
got. I sent you two links. When I say two links, two separate times. You
Yeah, I
know what I
got it.
mean?
I was waiting for you guys to come
Okay,
on
you
Discord.
saw it. Okay.
Yeah, I saw though. It's all good.
All right. Yeah.
Stump,
Well, I think you're right,
you can stream
Steven.
this to your channel too.
The
Oh yeah,
internet
I'm
seems
gonna do
to
that.
be booming here, so that's good.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's running a lot smoother. I noticed that.
There we go.
I really have vodka in here, guys. Just good.
Of course, yeah. I'm drinking
Water.
Meadowbrook water. I don't even know where Meadowbrook comes from.
I don't know.
Oh, it comes from Florida. Huh. Good old Florida. Oh, it comes from the town of Lake Placid. That's good water.
Hmm.
So, Proverbs, how far are you from Dinosaur Adventureland? You're in Alabama, right?
I am maybe 15 minutes away.
Oh, do you stop by often or no?
I used to stop by a lot more often. I've just been really busy with work and streaming lately, but I was attending church there every Sunday until somewhat recently.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. It's nice to be that close. Yeah.
It is, yeah. And I work there in Bruton, and Pastor Hoven knows all the time. He'll call me and say, "Hey, brother, I'm going to be in Bruton. You want to go to lunch?" So I see Kent Hoven often. I just haven't been by DAL in a little bit.
Bruton is right near there, right? Because
Yeah.
Lennox is where they're at, right? Is it called Lennox or Ripton?
It's Lennox, and then the next big town over would be Range, and then on the other side of Range is the outskirts of Bruton, and that's where I live.
Okay. And what
Yeah,
town is
yeah.
near the expressway?
That's Range.
State.
Well,
The
that's
Woods.
Range / Bruton.
The woods are near the interstate.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you,
There's-
there's
there-
nothing out there.
I stayed when I went down. I stayed in a hotel off the interstate.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, you're right. There's hotels off the interstate. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I don't know what town that is though. What that is? That's not Bruton.
I don't know.
That's what it's
They
called.
changed. I think it sounds like I'm being funny, but I think Stephen will back me up on this. The names of these towns change about every 6 miles tops.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not sure what it was. It was just a small town. They had a park and some homes there. I remember that, and they had a little commercial area. It was very small though.
mm,
I don't remember the name of it. It's not Lennox. I don't know what it is. I have to look it up.
I know. I guess. Well, I've only been there twice, so it must have been my first time there. And my maps, I don't know. It took me on a roundabout way to get there. Scared me to death. I didn't realize I was on a wooden bridge out in the middle of the woods until I'm like halfway across this bridge. And I'm serious. I can hear it creaking. And I'm thinking, I'm going to die here and no one's going to find my body.
You really
'Cause
went back the way.
this bridge is going to collapse. I'm telling you, it was something like out
Yeah.
of Deliverance.
Wow.
But I said, okay, let's go for it. Anyway, I just drove slow, went across the bridge. Anyway, I don't know how, but I made it across the bridge. And then I finally found Dal, Dinosaur Adventureland.
Well, the first time I went down, I had to pull over at that little the three-way stop, whatever it is, with the little store used to be there.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I had to
Yeah.
call Hoban. I had to call him and ask him. I don't know how to get there. I
You
drove
were right
around,
down
around.
the street from that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. But it was down that little clay dirt road. I must have drove right past it 3 or 4 times. Didn't realize where I was going.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that too. The first time I was there.
You guys
I
both
had
drove
that
past it?
clay. Oh no, the second time I had that clay all over my car, didn't I, Steven? I
Oh,
said,
yeah,
where's the
you
car
did.
wash? Remember that?
I even told you, I said, Pastor, you may not want to wash it till you leave because it's going to get muddy again.
Oh God, what a mess. What a mess it was. Yeah, the first time I was there, yeah, that's right. It didn't even rain. The whole time I was there, the first time I went, I only stayed I stayed 3 nights. I left the fourth day early in the morning. But my point is, it was dry when I got there. So I still got dust on the car, but not caked pottery on my car. Oh.
Yeah, I remember my shoes being so stained. I couldn't clean them. They were red. The soles of my shoes were red. The gym shoes I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting those clean. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty bad down there.
Well, it used to be just an old gravel pit, and after they shut it down, all the locals used to go out there to party and God knows what else.
Yeah.
The rumors around town from the locals is that used to be a popular place to dispose of people.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah.
I can believe that. Like I
see
said,
why, yeah.
this bridge I went across, if it would have collapsed, well, that probably would have been my they would have found my body, they would have said, "Oh, look, the bridge collapsed. Someone must have been driving across it." And then, of course, they'd have seen my car in the river.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, that was scary.
Yeah, when you're in the city, when you're a city person, I know I am. That stuff is unusual and difficult to navigate. There's no
Yeah.
street lights. There's no nothing at night.
No, you're right. You're right.
No
Now,
signs. There's really no signs.
Linux has developed. I think they may have a second stop sign now.
Oh wow.
Really?
Mm.
Well, yeah, but it's at the four-way stop. They just replaced one that fell over, so.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Big Bad Mama says when he went and visited DAL, he stayed in Atmore. But that's a good drive. Atmore?
Atmore? I've heard of that. Yeah, they have hotels there.
I don't even remember that name. How far, roughly, Stephen, would that be from DAL? Roughly.
Oh, man, maybe 35, 40 minutes, somewhere around there, depending on traffic and how fast you drive.
I think that's west, right, from DAL, that Atmore? West from there?
I couldn't tell you that. I've just now figured out which way is south, and that was only because I wanted to make sure I could get to Florida if crap hit the fan.
Pensacola, huh?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to visit Pensacola while I was down there, but I never did. I don't know why I didn't go down there. Because it's like how far? Like a 6-hour drive, maybe, Pensacola? From Dow?
From here? No. Heck no. It's like an hour drive, hour and a half tops.
Oh, that close?
It's only 45 miles from here.
Oh, I thought it was like 90 miles.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like 45 miles.
Okay. I'm just saying what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a straight shot right down 50, what is that, 57?
81, I think.
Oh, 81.
I think, yeah.
I know the interstate is east of, if I'm almost right, east of Dale. Then if you keep going west, there's another town as you go west. I think I went to eat there one time.
Well, the worst traffic I hit. Well, what I did, my son lives in North Carolina, which I'm leaving for in the morning at 5 in the morning. We're still going to have the show tomorrow night. I'm taking my laptop and everything I need. He has a computer, but I prefer, I know where everything is on my laptop. Anyway, like the last trip I took, the last time I've been down to see my son. No, I saw him one other time. I had to run down. It was a brief visit, though. It was, it don't matter. I'm trying to think what month it was, though. He was having some problems.
Where are you headed to? What state are you headed to?
He lives right outside of Wilmington, North Carolina. The story I was going to tell, in July when I went down, I made it a double visit. When I say that, I went to his house first. What'd I stay, Stephen? Like 2 days, 3 days, whatever it was.
Something like that. It was a short
visit.
visit.
And then I left from North Carolina to head for Alabama.
Yeah.
And I thought I saw some bad traffic like around Richmond and DC on the way to North Carolina. Ain't nothing like going around Atlanta with the airport and everything.
Oh, yeah. Atlanta's terrible.
Oh, my goodness. I'm like, I'm never going to get there. But once you get past Atlanta, it's pretty much clear sailing. I mean, you're out in nowhere land,
Yeah.
So
where are you from originally, Father Chuck?
I grew up in a little town on the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland called Edgemere. I moved to Pennsylvania when I was 25. I bought my first house in Pennsylvania. It was in 1989, I guess. The reason
good year.
I'm not bragging about this. This goes to show you how just from 1989, it was an 8-bedroom Victorian, 4,800 square feet total. Had a club basement even in that Victorian house. Again, and it was only on a quarter acre, okay, just a quarter acre of land. 1989, Stump. We're the closest in age here. What do you think I paid for that? Oh, by the way, this is when I made my move from Maryland. I got sick of the high taxes, crime, I said, I'm moving my family to Pennsylvania. Anyway, I described the house to you. 8 bedrooms, 4,800 square feet on a quarter-acre lot in 1989.
Was it totally redone, or was it still like?
I didn't have to do a thing to it. It was a new roof. Yeah, it was ready to move in.
I'd
I'm
say.
gonna say 35 to 45.
Oh, I wouldn't guess that. What was this, rural Pennsylvania, or was it a city?
It was actually
It's
in town, a small town called Red Lion. 2
I'm gonna say.
words, Redlion. Red
I'm gonna
Lion,
guess
Pennsylvania.
120,000.
I'll
What's
tell you,
closer?
it was an even number, $50,000.
Oh, I
Wow,
was so
you
close.
were close. Wow. Ooh.
Yeah,
8 bedrooms, you said, right? Did I get that right?
8 bedrooms, and I ain't talking
Wow.
minis.
How many
It,
stories?
it,
2,
it
3 stories?
3 stories.
Wow.
3
Was it brick
stories.
or frame?
Brick.
Wow.
You know, if
Man.
you still had that house, it would easily be a $400,000 home.
I know, but then we get into the what ifs. So
It depends where you're at
yeah,
too. In 1990, I bought my home that has 3 bedrooms in Chicago.
okay.
It cost me $84,000.
There you go.
It depends on where you're at.
Yeah,
It's a
and
big deal.
plus, I'm sure the yours factored in a little bit. Yours was obviously a newer house than mine,
Not
and I
really.
mean that.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
that's part of the factor. And
Well, if it's redone, if it's all
yeah,
redone, rehabbed,
um,
because all them pipes and stuff, sooner or later you got to replace all your pipes and all kind of stuff.
right, and that's what concerned me. And now that you mention the pipes that I have to replace, no, if I would have kept the house, let's see, I was what? Oh Lord have mercy. I guess I was 28 when I moved there.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly. And I remember the realtor was very honest. I didn't come out and ask them if they were a Christian. It seemed to me that they were just too honest, and you'll see why in a minute. Too honest to be a realtor. The guy comes out, and it was a guy, and he says, matter of fact, his name was Jim. See, people that do good jobs and impress me, I remember their names. Other than that, I'm terrible with names.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he never had to bring this up. It's funny you bring up the pipes. He says, he says it's still a ways in the future, but I feel like I need to tell you that the pipes are probably, you're going to probably have to redo your whole plumbing system. Let's see, I was 28. He said probably in 20 years, because I remember thinking, well, I'll be 48, almost 50. I probably will be able to handle that. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
like, when you're 28, 50, 48's like, oh, so far away.
A long way
But
away.
no, it's funny you mentioned the pipes, especially in a Victorian house. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
because those are
said,
original pipes. You're looking
yeah,
at lead pipes probably, and
exactly.
also
Yeah.
cast iron, maybe
Yeah.
iron pipes. They all go bad. They rust out right out.
They
Even your
do.
drain
They
pipes.
do.
This house was built in the
But
50s, and I had to replace my drain pipes.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It
And then you
did.
probably have,
You could tell he didn't lie about the roof, though. It's hard to lie about a roof. It would definitely was a brand new roof that. Now he said they put the roof on when they decided to sell the property. So I mean, it was brand new,
yeah,
and they usually have a 30-year warranty. So the roof was going to last me, well, what, till I was 58? Well, right? Yeah, 58. Yeah, right before I'm
yeah,
getting close to retire, I'd have to replace a roof that probably costs $40,000.
yeah. In a house that size, you're right. It'd be expensive.
Yeah. So
Well, it's a nice house. I love them old homes. Those were built probably the turn of the century, 1900s or so, maybe a little before that. Some of them, depending on how old they are. they're old, but then the maintenance on them is, unless everything's been changed over already. I mean, they probably even had the wiring was like a knob and tube and wire, whatever they call it, where they
Mhm.
had the actual wires exposed running in the walls and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, I had an apartment once where they still had the old gas pipes for the gas lights in the ceiling. When you change
Oh,
out your light,
really?
it was
That's
still hanging
cool.
there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That is cool though to me. It is.
yeah, it
That's
was still
cool.
there. It was, of course, it was capped off and not used, but it was there. You can tell at one time they had gas lights in there.
That's got to be dangerous.
Oh no, but there's no gas going to it. There was no gas going to it at the time.
No, but I
Yeah.
mean when it was functioning, that had
Oh
to be
yeah,
dangerous.
could you imagine that? Yeah, for open flames and was it gas they used? Yeah, they used gas, I guess, at one time. Regular natural
Yeah.
gas,
Yeah.
because it had a
Well, they
fireplace
used
too,
to.
natural gas fireplace.
This is before my time, Stump, and I'm sure before your time. But cities, they had what were they called? Gas. That's where the word gaslighting came from.
Sure,
They
yeah, you're right.
actually had gaslighters, that went around at dusk, and had to do it manually.
Yeah, I think that was advancement from the whale oil they used to use. They actually have it piped in. Yeah, so some of them homes are really old and they still holding up. The brick ones, I don't know about if the wood ones would hold up, but the brick ones
Hey,
Well,
hold up.
that's the thing too. That I want to be. Let's see. This was nine. Yes, I do remember. This house was built that I bought. It was built. It was completed. That's what it said on the deed. It was completed in 1881.
Whoa, yeah, that was a true Victorian.
So,
Did it have
and
all
I
the
got.
Victorian architecture, like the points and all that? And
I'm
the le-
sorry.
did it have all the architecture on the outside still?
Oh
The
yeah.
points
The
and all that.
special molding and all. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's man. I'm telling people
I
say
like them
this, but
houses.
it's true. They built houses to last, especially during the Victorian era.
Oh yeah,
I believe these people that had the money to build a Victorian house, think of the times now.
yeah,
If you had the money, you and you're dumping this money into a Victorian house, this builder, I think, knew he better build it right. That's my theory of why these Victorian houses lasted so long, because they were built right. They were built with the materials that would last a long
oh
time.
yeah. Yeah, they didn't mess around. Even when you look at the old houses, even the 2x4s were actually 2x4. If you pull out from
Mhm,
old house a 2x4, for say they use to
mhm.
frame the wall, it would be the actual measurement be 2x4. Where now it's like 1.5 by 3.5 or something like that. A modern 2x4.
Right.
I mean, it was. I've seen them. They're like crisp corners. There's not all this broken up, and they were man, quality stuff. Even the basic wood was quality.
Mhm.
Pine and stuff they use.
And
Hey,
if I
Chuck.
remember correctly, you're from Chicago, right?
Yep, I'm from
So you
Chicago.
grow up in the Chicago
Yeah.
area and everything?
In Chicago, yeah.
Yes, Stephen, I'm sorry.
I don't know if you've realized this because I just found out today, but Stump here was a Chicago law enforcement officer
Oh, cool. You wore the
and lived
checkered
to
hat,
tell the
huh?
tale.
Yeah.
You guys are famous for those checkered hats. That's why I said that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I put that all behind me. I don't even think about that stuff. It's like it never happened to me.
Yeah.
I just leave it in my mind. It's gone. It's gone. It was interesting, but it's gone. It's another new chapter.
You guys get a lot of wind there. That's why they call you the Windy City, huh?
Yeah. Hey, just mentioned that I got to repair my siding. My siding fell off the top. The wind blew it off like a little. Must have been like a little mini burst because the neighbor's roof. It took the tiles off it. The tiles off the roof, and they were landing in my yard. I thought it was my roof. I was like, oh no. When I went up there and it wasn't mine, I saw my neighbor's roof was missing tiles. So we got it good. That hadn't happened to me before. It's first time.
Wow.
Yeah, it actually I have a 2-story, so it took the top framing off. Some frame. It's vinyl siding rather. The siding that came off. One piece came off, and it was laying in my front yard. So I'm looking for a guy now to give me a estimate. These guys, these contractors, man. Last year or the year before, an ice dam built up on my gutter upstairs, and it pulled it down. It like just fell. So, and it was just one length of gutter. You could buy it at Home Depot, one length, right? But I'm an older man. I didn't want to be on a ladder by myself. Gutter. I don't have all the, several ladders and all that. So I get a couple guys to get the estimate. The one guy wanted to charge me $1,000. I mean, they were trying to take advantage of me because they knew I wasn't going to go up there. He didn't think, but in the end, I ended up doing it myself. But a second guy had come out. I didn't realize he came out and didn't tell me. He put the estimate in my mailbox, and I never found it. I thought he never came out. And his estimate, I got it right here, was $285, which I thought was more reasonable to hang one piece of gutter. You know what I mean?
Right.
The guy trying to charge me $1,000, obviously trying to rip me off.
Yeah.
I think they know what your insurance deductible is, so they go right to that.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, they they'll try to get every dime out of the insurance company.
That's exactly what he was trying to do. That was exactly my deductible, and he knew it somehow.
Yep, that's yeah.
You can't trust
how it goes. But you know what? I'm just sitting here thinking one last thing about that Victorian house. Now, of course, we're going back years, but this really does stick in my mind. So this is accurate. I can't remember what my average, and I'm not going to pretend I can. So I can't remember what my average, excuse me, electric bill was, which would be my lighting and all that stuff. Now, I did have a gas stove, gas oven. I had natural gas to heat. Anyway, I do remember what my average, and this is how prices have changed. My average gas bill to heat the house, 3 stories, 4,800 square feet. You're not going to believe it, but I'm sorry. Why? It's $160.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Nowadays,
that was considered high. If you think back to 1980, that was what? You pay $160 to heat your house?
It'll cost you $1,600 now. Probably $600 somehow.
Probably.
Well, that's why when I did some rehab on my house, right, I took down the wall, I was doing it myself, and the outside wall, and there's no insulation in the walls at all. None. Not a piece of newspaper folded up, nothing in there. It's just brick, framing, and then the drywall. And because back then you could just blast your heat. It didn't cost you. You know what I'm saying? Just blast it.
Yeah.
All day.
Fuel, you're right. Fuel was cheap. Yeah.
Right. You just blast it and heat your house with the heating. Now, what in that Victorian, you probably had hot water heat like the radiators, or did you have forced air?
Yeah, I had radiator heat.
Yeah, that's the best kind. To me, that's always the best even heat.
Well, what was odd about it, usually with the radiator heat, most people had kerosene, or they called it oil heat.
Yeah,
mine was my water was heated by natural gas. I was like an oddball. I think it's because I lived in town. I really do. So that way they could run the natural gas lines, right to my house. So I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, because if I could be wrong, but 1989 natural gas was way cheaper than
for sure
kerosene or oil heat. So yeah,
for sure, yeah.
I love that.
What were your taxes like? What were your property taxes? Were they expensive for that size of house?
What you have, instead of paying property tax, it's really the same thing. What they do in Pennsylvania, at least in this town. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because my property tax here is done the same way. They combine, you get a discount, supposedly, from the state for actual property, because they combine your school tax and your property tax together. Okay. So, whether you pay a high school tax, it depends what school district you're in. It really does. In other words, how many students you have going to school in that district.
Okay.
is a big part of your tax bill. Is bigger than the actual property tax guy coming out and assessing. I know it sounds weird, but that's how they do it. At least in this part of Pennsylvania. So
Yeah. That was one of the advantages to living in Chicago, that your property taxes were lower. If you lived out in the suburbs of Chicago, you pay, say, for instance, I pay $1,200 a year. In the suburb, a decent suburb, you'd be paying $12,000-13,000 a year for your property tax.
wow,
So that was
that's
one of the
nuts.
differences.
I believe you, but that
they
is
didn't have the businesses and
nuts.
stuff to support the city, but yeah, that was
Well,
one of
I
the advantages.
remember now that I was thinking about it. I remember, you always remember the first year anyway. My first year, full year living there, and I told you how they put it together, the school, and anyway, it's $2,800.
Okay,
So
that was kind of expensive back then. That was quite a bit of
yeah,
a property tax for what I'm used to. Like I said, over here, it's always been relatively low inside the city. If you're outside the city, you're going to pay more.
right.
But yeah, so there's advantage and
Well, that
disadvantage.
in Pennsylvania then, when I moved to it was nuts. Of course, you got your Pennsylvania State Police, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Red Lion Police. Now you gotta understand, Red Lion is not a sprawling metropolis here. We're
Yeah.
talking 3 policemen, sometimes 2, could handle a shift. Okay,
Wow.
you get my
Yeah.
drift there?
Right.
Then a few miles up the road, what was the name of that town? Dallastown. Guess what? You had the Dallastown police.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, every town you went into, they made an expenditure. There was a town, and I remember this is when things started changing. The town was called Glen Rock. They had, Glen Rock from when I lived in Red Lion was probably 15 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, this cat, there was only one. He was the chief. He was everything. Well, I guess they even had a mayor, obviously. So he answered to the mayor. He'd work a shift, and then he was on call. And
Wow.
he wouldn't. He would, if it was just a B&E, breaking and entering.
Yeah.
Something was stolen, but the people were gone. No one was hurt. I'll be by tomorrow to take the report for the insurance company. This is how things were done.
Yeah.
Now, if someone was anyway, the point I'm making is they saw how ridiculous this was, and they slowly, actually, Red Lion was the last municipality. They made what's called. I fell into the Southern District. So actually, I'm sorry, Southeastern District. So I was still there when they changed. The Red Lion Police became the Southeastern Police Department.
Huh.
And then as you went up, like you heard me mention the town, Dallastown and all,
Yeah.
and Glen Rock, they became the Northeastern Police Department.
Oh.
So, which made sense. I mean,
Right.
you had all
Couple
these
towns.
little towns with policemen. It was stupid.
They're like
But
county
anyway.
sheriffs then we're covering.
No, it was police department. We had a sheriff.
Right.
We had a sheriff, but he usually dealt in the civil matters.
Yeah.
He had the power to deal in criminal matters, but no, they made police departments, and anyway, it's all different now. But
how far? Where are you located? Well, in the state, is that near?
York, Pennsylvania. I'm 38 miles. No, maybe I'm not that far from the state line. I'm probably 30 miles from the state line.
Okay. Yeah.
As the crow flies. So yeah.
I've been to Pennsylvania once. I went down to Hershey, to the music park down there with my kids. just to have for vacation.
Yeah,
I
I
actually
know where
enjoyed it.
that's at. Yeah, that's
I actually
north
liked
of
it
there.
down there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
north of
it's
there.
actually nice down there. I thought it was, in at least that part of
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
most places in Pennsylvania, unless you go around, I better watch what I say. Most places in Pennsylvania are nice. Yeah,
Except
because
for I'd
most
say
of them,
Philadelphia.
except for Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, York, Pennsylvania. I live in York County,
Yeah,
but there is York City, but it's a small city. But we don't have the problems the rest of the country has with people taking the law into their own hands. Basically, our law enforcement has went on and stayed law abiding. Let me put it that way.
right, right,
You
right.
can tell I'm having trouble. I don't want to say anything wrong.
Yeah.
Where I live, even the city, is law abiding. So
What is Pennsylvania considered, a Democratic state or neutral, or what is it considered? I
purple.
don't know.
We're considered purple only
Purple.
because of the
Philadelphia.
population of Philadelphia
Yeah, yeah.
and some of the surrounding counties. It's
What's the
fun
capital?
because
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg, I would well,
Harrisburg.
that's our capital, but
Right.
that
I
I
think
would
that's near
say that
Hershey.
was Democratic. But you have to understand, Pennsylvania is a gigantic state, and
Oh yeah,
we have a lot of little towns that aren't populated that much.
yeah.
So
It sure is. I've been there.
that's why Democratic candidates usually win.
Yeah,
We've had we're considered a purple state, and yes, we're the big prize during the presidential race,
yeah.
Pennsylvania, because all the electoral votes we have.
Exactly. Right. It's
So,
a purple state.
Yeah, you
Well,
guys have almost as many as Florida, right?
as far as
electoral.
The electoral
as far as
votes.
electoral votes, yeah, almost.
I think so. I
Yeah,
haven't looked at that in a long
let's see.
time. I'll tell you what I didn't like about going to Hershey, Pennsylvania, was the traffic. I mean, going east compared to going west or south, it's congested. I mean, I had
Yeah.
never experienced that before. I mean, we couldn't even get a hotel. Normally, every year when I was working, we'd travel during my vacation somewhere. You know, we'd go to Las Vegas, Florida, whatever, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Mm.
But going east was the worst experience because you couldn't get a hotel.
That's where
unless
all
you
the
had a reservation.
population is the east side of Pennsylvania. Yeah.
It's crazy, and even the traffic on the interstates were congested. I did not enjoy that about traveling out that way. I liked when we got to Hershey; it was nice, but the traveling was not nice.
Right.
Not like when you're going out west, you're going out to Las Vegas or something. You're basically the only guy on the road half the time. And
Yeah.
hotels, you have your pick, and they're all cheap, and you can pick as many as you want. Find the one you want with just the right amenities. I remember we had to take we had stopped one night. We had to take a smoking room. None of us smoke in my family. Oh my God, we
Right.
couldn't stay in there. We ended up like just sleeping in the car in the parking lot afterwards. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it was.
The only time I've been to PA is when I lived in Virginia. We took a trip to Carlisle, and we went through a lot of
Yeah.
little cute farm towns. It was beautiful, the countryside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is very beautiful. No, Proverbs. What is your? You've been around the states a bit. Would you think was your favorite state? You'd like to live, if you could?
I'll tell you, I love Florida, but I hate the politics that the Yankees bring down when they're ready to retire.
Uh-huh.
But I do love that state, but it's so hot, man. I'd say out of all the states I've lived, it's probably a tie between North Carolina and Virginia.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, what part of Virginia did you live in? Near the
I
capital
lived in.
city, Washington?
No, it was right on the border of North Carolina. I lived in a town called Danville, and I also lived in a town right next to it called Martinsville, and it bordered North Carolina.
You lived in Danville, Pennsylvania?
No, Danville, Virginia.
Oh, okay, close to Pennsylvania. All right.
Yep, very close. Yeah, it's beautiful up there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even around Atlanta, I like Tennessee, Nashville. It's real beautiful around there too.
Oh
Mountains
yeah,
and hills and woods, and it's
I
really
got to
beautiful.
go to Nashville and Chattanooga like 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, when I went to Ron Wyatt's house, and it was pretty up there, man.
It is,
Like
yeah.
it's breathtaking.
But you can't mind driving up and down the mountains. The things are, well, at least coming from Chicago, headed that way, the mountains are rough. Up
Well,
and down, up and down.
what got me twisted is when you go around parts of Chattanooga,
Mhm.
like you have to go around a mountain and
Yeah.
it jumps back and forth between time zones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So like
Yeah.
depending on what part of the mountain you're on, and you have to go all the way around, like it's very confusing.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah, it's weird. Time zone. Yeah, I had it happen before too, where I've traveled down to Florida and time zone changes and I forget and I'm late for something, but yet I could go straight down to Alabama and where Dinosaur Adventureland is, and it's the same time zone, which is cool. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about that at all.
Yep. Yeah, Chuck and I always have that issue because when we plan our shows, we have to remember that he's Eastern time and
Right.
I'm Central time.
Yeah.
But I'll be moving here soon in like less than a week, and I'll be in the East time zone also. So that'll make he and I planning our shows that much easier.
Oh, nice. Did you say Georgia you're moving to?
Yeah, moving to Georgia.
Oh, nice. Near Florida border, I guess, since you like Florida, right? You get down there.
It's very close to the Florida border. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, cool. And your job allows you to do that, or are you looking for a new job?
I've already got a different job.
Oh, nice. Good.
I got to go grab my clothes out of the dryer. But just to leave you with this, Florida has 29 electoral votes.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Pennsylvania has 20.
I knew they were close
Yeah.
because I think California, now they did just redistrict. I'm not sure if that affected the electoral college votes, but I know California had 55, Texas had like 30 something, and then
Right.
Florida and New York had the third highest with 29.
Yeah.
I
And
think
then you
they
have,
determine it by
then
population,
you
right?
have Pennsylvania, and it goes down from that. 20 Pennsylvania, 18 for Ohio. Your new state of Georgia to be has 16 electoral votes,
Uh-huh.
tied with Michigan, who has 16 votes.
What does Illinois have? Is Illinois on there?
What's that?
Illinois, is that on the list? I'm sure it is.
I'll look it up. No problem. Real quick before I go.
I think Illinois has 11.
That's all? Really? It
That might be off, but I want to say it's like
Might.
11.
could be right. I haven't looked at that in a long time since I stopped voting. Because I think it's based on population, the electoral vote. I believe that's how they.
That's exactly what it's based on. Illinois has, and drum roll, please. Where?
Hopefully it's warm. Hopefully it's warm.
One. Yeah, negative
Yeah,
1.
Go ahead and roll it as I can. There it is. Oh, wow. Hey, I'm shocked. You be tied with PA, brother. You got 20 electoral.
I know it was quite a bit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's more than I thought.
That's more than I thought, too. All right, guys, I'm going to grab my clothes.
That's why
Alrighty.
when the census comes, if you're a conservative guy stuck in a liberal state like this, you shouldn't tell them that you're here. That way the population will be lowered. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I'm a conservative voters outnumbered here for sure. I don't know why. I don't get it. I mean, after a while, you think people will learn their lesson, but they don't. You know, we had that mayor election. We got rid of that Lightfoot character, and they got another.
Oh, she was a joke, man.
Hey, this next guy they got is a teacher union guy. He's probably just as bad. He's probably going to be worse. It's the same agenda. It's the same liberals junk. Defund the police, raise your taxes.
Yeah.
Hey, what supposedly they want. If they're legit elections, this is what people want. What I'm gonna do? I can't. I voted. My vote didn't work.
You know what though, man? That really baffles me because especially in Chicago, where you have such a high crime rate,
yeah,
how the people of Chicago could vote to defund the police is just mind blowing to me, bro.
Yeah, they're easily influenced. Like I said, the abortion over here with the abortion issue too. The conservative candidate here in Chicago for mayor, they had him saying how he was against abortions, and I'm sure that that triggers people, man. Abortion is a trigger for people. And if you're not like a Christian, then you know you're gonna be on the other side of the abortion issue more than likely. Everybody I know is.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they worked with the governor's race here in Illinois. They brought the same issue up, and they brought it up again in the mayor race. And the guy that was for not the government not providing abortions was the loser every time.
Well, you know what's so crazy is you have the same issue, right? Take abortion. Up north, that could be a death sentence for your campaign. But down here in the South, like that's going to drag you across the winning line.
You think so? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But,
man. Especially here in the Bible Belt South. Yeah. If you're not anti-abortion, you're probably not going to get voted unless you're in one of the big cities.
Yeah, but what happened to the red wave the Republicans were supposed to do this last election? Did it include some of the Southern?
No, not really. We about broke even down here.
Yeah, it seems
now
like the timing of that was weird to me.
Florida cleaned up. Florida had a huge red wave.
Oh, did they? Yeah, like only a few states, right? They only like a few that did.
Yeah, like last election, Florida was considered like the prize that night because the Republicans cleaned up everything.
Huh. Wow. I know they were expecting a whole lot more out of it, and they were going to take over everything, and it didn't happen. And it just seemed that abortion issue with the Supreme Court was timed just for this. To me, that's what it looked like to me. And I was very suspicious of that. And I
don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I kind of knew that this was going to affect the results because I know how divisive issue that is, and like I said, my own personal belief on that is it's not right for me or anybody associated with me abortions, but and I don't know if I ever said this, but it might be controversial. I don't believe that the government should tell people that they can't do it. Now they shouldn't provide funds for it, but they shouldn't tell them either way. It should be a personal decision, and you should be supported by whoever supports that, but not the government, because my taxes go to pay. My taxes shouldn't go for that because I don't agree with it.
Yeah, well, I'm a states' rights guy. You know, obviously, I'm a Southerner. So I'm fine with it being at the state level. And if one state wants to completely prohibit it, I think that's wonderful, and that's the state I want to live in. But then if there are people who want that freedom, then there are, you know, how many other states they can go to and live with those. Every issue to me should be a state's issue.
Yeah, but even if it's a state issue, I don't believe states should tell a woman that they can't do something that's inside their body. I know the argument is it's living, but if you remember this last illness that spread across the world, that was the same excuse why you should take the jabs, was because it wasn't only for your health, it was for the people you're protecting. It's the same argument that they turned on us, on the conservatives, and we can't be hypocrites. I don't want to be a hypocrite because being a hypocrite is a sin.
Well, that's different, though. That's completely different because me getting a vaccine affected me personally. Abortion affects an unborn child. So I don't even see those as remotely connected, in my opinion.
Yeah, but do you not remember how they said you're getting it for your grandmother and for the old lady that's at the store? It was the same thing about wearing these masks. It's not just your protection. I mean, it's the same exact argument. I know it is. And it's true. I mean, if they can tell a woman what to do to their body, they can tell me. Not I have to do this jab. That's what I believe. You know. So.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. If you believe that, then you have to support men being able to opt out of paying child support, right? Because if a woman has a right to choose whether or not she wants motherhood, then the father should have the same opportunity to decide if he wants to be a father, right? I mean, we would have to be fair about it.
See that. Let me think about that for a minute. I never heard that argument before. A father has the right to.
Well, if the mother has the right to opt out because it's her body, then the father should also have the right to opt out. I mean, otherwise it's a sexist policy.
I could agree with that. Yeah, they should both have a choice, right?
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah,
but I mean, I'm a much bigger component of adoption. I think adoption's beautiful. We should take all the funding away from abortion and put it into adoption.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
But you know what I have to say about that? Knowing my experience in the streets, I know a lot of kids that have been passed around these homes, man. They've been abused. I know one that was real close to me. That was like a distant relative that was taken from their parents, put into these different homes. They were sexually abused. They've told me personally that this So I don't know if that's the best thing for kids. If everybody was good people and their best intentions were to take care of kids and not abuse them or just collect money from the fact of them being adopted by them or whatever, I would agree with that. But life isn't that clean cut, and there's a lot of abuse goes on with these kids, and it's a terrible
Well,
thing.
that's why I think that it needs more funding. If the adoption agencies had more funding to work with, and then social services had more funding, and with proper oversight, which you could get with that funding, I think it would be a lot safer for the kids and give them a better status in life. Because I do agree with you, like, Republicans really frustrate me. They're pro-life, but only until after the baby's born. And I'm pro-life from the cradle to the grave.
Yeah.
I don't think you should ever stop caring for these children that you work so hard to save,
Oh, amen. Right. But these are truths of our systems now.
Yeah.
A lot of them places are not good for kids, man. A lot of them end up in the streets on drugs, suicide, all kind of stuff because and it's coming from a man who was brought up in a 2-parent home for the most part. My parents divorced when I was 12, but still they still hung together and tried to work together. And I didn't have a childhood like that. I can't say I had a bad childhood. Only thing that ever happened bad was because of my own problems. I wasn't out of my control. So I feel for these kids because I wish they all could have that type of thing, whether their parents want to board them or not. And I know that's not the reality in this world. And I've seen it every day when I used to work in the streets. So, hey, Dustin, what's up?
Man, the closer you get to God, the more the devil attacks.
Amen. That's how it is, man. He wants to move you away from him.
Dude, let me tell you, Dustin, and we haven't prayed for you yet, but we are going to. But I was scrolling through Facebook earlier, and I rarely ever get on Facebook anymore because I think it's a joke, and I basically hate it. I only keep it to post my videos and scripture verses. But I was just scrolling through, dude, and I saw post after post with friends on my stream saying spiritual attack. Anybody notice all the spiritual attack? Like, it was almost every one, dude. So you're not alone right now, Dustin. The enemy is out there working hard.
Oh yeah, for sure. Trying to snatch you away with people come in the form of him, sometimes trying to change your mind about Jesus Christ, as we've seen right here on this forum. And sometimes it comes in a spiritual attack, and
Yeah, I remember the day you guys are talking about Stump, but what was the deal with that? Because I don't remember. Like, I was driving while that conversation was going on, so I was only halfway listening and not responding. But you guys are saying that guy was trying to talk you out of Christianity?
Yeah, because he used to be he was an ex-Christian. He decided to turn from the faith and become an atheist. So while he was in Lupin's show, he would be on there, and he was on Lupin's show like maybe 2 or 3 times, right? And the first couple of times he was real, cordial. Everything was cool. We were talking, discussing things like level-headed adults. But then the last time he was on, he tried to say that a passage in Scripture God approved of slavery. Oh no, child sacrifice. But the stuff he pointed to was actually not it. It was somebody who decided to sacrifice when their children, thinking God, would honor this, but God never asked him to. So he got really upset, and he got, like he was spitting mad, and you wouldn't turn from God when I tell you that he encourages slavery, So he was angry, and then when he came on your show, he continued it. He came on just for that purpose, to continue it, and he was even more angry then. So
yeah, because it was mainly you and he who got into it, right?
Yeah, because we got into the first time. We got into the first time. He was questioning me about, well, you wouldn't turn from, if I showed you that he encourages child sacrifice, would you turn from this God? I'm like, why would I? I'd be a fool knowing that he died for me.
Although that's a pretty safe bet because we know he doesn't encourage it.
Right.
He even talks about when you made your children pass through the fire and I didn't ask you to.
Exactly. Right. But, like I said, I think he was trying to justify the fact that he turned away and, I don't know. He was really angry. It was like really personal. So that reminded me of a spiritual attack when he comes straight out like that and tells you, I'm not gonna waste my time if I show you that there's child sacrifice encouraged by God, and if you don't turn from him, I'm wasting my time. I'm just gonna leave. Why would you care? Why would you care to turn me to atheism? Atheism doesn't save anybody. Atheism doesn't promise you anything but what? But nothing. It promises you nothingness in the end. Enjoy yourself now while you can. Eat, drink, and be married, for tomorrow we die. That's their whole thing. Yep. Why would you care to turn me to that? You're not trying to help me.
Hey, how did you meet Lupin?
I think I just saw his little live program and came out on the show one time. Just came in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's all.
Oh,
And
that's
then-
cool, man. So you just stumbled across it on YouTube.
Yeah, then we just start like every day, every time I live stream, I was on there with him. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love
Yeah,
these little communities we're building.
Oh yeah, it is awesome because all the different perspectives that come in. Even Dustin brings another one. You know what I'm saying? That's you're not going to find it anywhere else. I'll tell you the truth.
No, you're not
Well,
going to.
no, you'll find it. It's just scattered. You won't find it collectively like I have it.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen any Christian claiming channel that discusses more things than the standard beliefs that everybody always understood Scripture to be. Nothing
Yeah,
different ever.
I gotta say, I don't think I've come across another channel like ours that tackles so many taboo topics.
I mean, you even have atheists on here, right? Like friendly atheists that come on and talk. Like,
Adam's kind of an
surprisingly.
anomaly. Adam's an anomaly, bro. That dude's an anomaly. I find myself wanting to attack because he's an atheist, and then I have to remind myself that. Well, I don't know. It's kind of disarming, you know.
Well, Adam's not really atheist. He's a oneness. So he has spiritual, like you say, he does have spiritual understanding of the spiritual world. He just don't believe in a creator God. That's the difference.
Yeah, I'll tell.
For
I
him.
call him the in the closet Christian.
Yeah. Well, he used to
He
be a
just
Christian,
he
right?
hasn't come out. Yeah, he used to be. I think God's gonna win him back over. Adam's a good dude, man. I like him.
Well, you know, there's a reason why-
Adam's pretty cool, man. I like Adam.
I think there's a reason why atheists or whatever would gravitate to a Christian channel, right? I mean, this is a majority Christian discussion scripture and stuff. There's a reason why something's drawing them. I think Otherwise, like I wouldn't go on the atheist channel, hang around with them for what? I have no interest in that. So there's an inkling somewhere, at least an inkling with whoever comes on here that's not a believer.
I would have to agree with that, Stump. I think you're right, man.
No, wait a minute. What happened with Aiden? What happened? What was it? Was that yesterday? Was I dreaming where he came out and just said something ridiculous and left?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, he came on here and was trying to weaponize my testimony.
That was like this out of left field, and that's his personality. I know he has a very hyper, and I'm very smart, and I'm a very type personality. But that even surprised me they did that. I don't know.
Well, he can get that way. I've had to boot him off several shows, but particularly this time he was upset because I had booted off his buddy Mark. Him and Mark are very good friends, so he was kind of coming to the defense of his friend.
Oh, Mark Stoney, him, my friends. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, through all that craziness with the child at the DAL and all that.
Yeah, they have a mutual hate for Kent Hovind, so
right.
that makes them like bosom brothers, I guess.
Yeah, that must be it. It just caught me off guard. I didn't. I thought he was gonna come on talking the same crazy stuff, and he just started with that was even worse. Like he wanted to be kicked off. I don't know. It was weird. Oh, Dustin, I'm gonna try to find that. There was a clip I was watching about a lady who says, and it was a woman, like you said, about spells, how your words are spells, and she was repeating like everything that rhymed. She was talking to the guy. She was like rhyming, like trying to tell you about it, and she was rhyming the words. And is that a way of casting a spell on people or no?
There's lots of so here's the thing when you're talking about casting spells.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, methods are many. So there's many methods for casting a spell, but the principles are few. So the targets of the spell are always major. I say always, and then I say majorly. But the targets of the spell are centered around chaos, and majorly a target of one individual causing a problem for another. So yes,
it's not like a general. They won't never cast a general spell,
huh? So you can, but you gotta think about the results.
Yeah,
right.
It struck me as weird because the title of the YouTube video was your English language cast spells or something like that. Then as soon as she came on to this man's show, she started speaking like with rhymes, like explaining with rhymes. I'm like, what is she doing? It was real weird. I'm gonna see if I can find it and give you a link for it.
I'd have to watch it. I'd probably be able to suss it
Yeah,
out.
I kind of want to see that too, Stump.
Let me see if I can find it. It'll be right in my history. I was watching it. And I stopped it because I'm like, is he trying to cast a spell? Not that I believe. I'm not saying I believe in that. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, that it does or doesn't. But it was really weird. Like this is what Dustin was talking about, and she's doing it.
When I come across that kind of stuff, Stump, I also stop watching it. Like if I get that check by the Holy Spirit, I shouldn't watch it. I shut it off.
Yeah, it was weird the way she just went right into it. Yeah. Here's the title. It's called. You guys ever hear of Aubrey Marcus? It's a man. Is his channel?
No, I haven't.
Okay, but this is the title.
The name sounds familiar. Some of these people have names that are pseudonyms that like it. So like if you're looking for somebody and you run into someone with the same name, kind of thing, right? It's kind of like a distraction.
Okay, yeah, this guy's supposed to be like a spiritual guy that believes in Christianity. Everything spiritual he talks about. But the title of his video was "Word Magic: Secret Spells of the English Language," and the lady's name is Laurel, Laurel, Then her last name is Erica, but it's spelled Airica, like Erica, a different way of spelling it. And she's the one that went right into this, this cadence.
That sounds like a witch's name.
Yeah, doesn't it? I mean, it's kind of long. It's how long? It's like 13 minutes. It's too long. I know you like to play long ones on your thing, but it's like 13 minutes. Plus, would you get a striker playing?
I don't. So what I was explained is that if it comes off of YouTube and you stream it on YouTube, you're okay.
I mean, if you want to, she starts off with it. So if you want to hear the first part, just to
guys, I'm here. I'll be folding clothes, but I'm here.
Hey, Pastor, do you care if we play this 13-minute video clip?
About what? I don't care.
Okay, go ahead, Stump.
It's not pornography, is it?
No.
Well, we all were sitting here and we were like, you know what? The perfect thing for this Christian stream would be pornography.
Well,
okay, hold on. Whoa,
word spells ain't gonna be too far from that, right? Word spells.
Hey, seriously, what's it about? I'm just curious. That's all.
It's about word spells associated with the English language.
Word spells? Well, go on.
Like witchcraft
Carry
stuff.
on.
Hey, Dustin, but if you should tell us something, like tell us.
But anyway, I don't want you guys think I left. I'm off camera folding clothes. So.
10-4, Pastor.
Stump.
If it's something she's doing, like trying to influence us, tell us. Say stop that.
Yeah, right? I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay, I'm gonna present it. Hold on.
Yeah, don't let us be victimized here, buddy.
I won't.
All right, I'm gonna share it. There we go. When it's up, let me know so I can start playing it.
It's up.
Okay. She's looking kind of suspicious already, right? Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. You guys don't hear the sound. I haven't got it on.
Yeah, you got to turn on the audio.
Yeah, here
she looks evil to me.
Efforts to heal our psyche and raise consciousness on the planet, we have all but overlooked the very instrument of conscious thought and communication. Yet our forked tongue English language, which is the leading software of the mind, is itself in great need of retuning and upgrading. Over the course of my life, I cultivated a heightened sensitivity to how the total normality of insanity in society is echoed, reflected, and reinforced by the English language, which inadvertently yet unavoidably propagates an antiquated and manipulated vision of reality promulgated by the ancient church as an instrument of mind control at a time when people had to surrender their mind if they wanted to keep their heads about them, quite literally. So if we elect collectively to upgrade the English.
Yeah, she's definitely got some education. She's wedged her. Okay, so what's been going on lately is a lot of these older witches, they've been wedging this new age crap into their routine. She's setting up the principle and pretty soon here, what you're looking at is a magic hat kind of situation. She's got a table and she's got a hat. You're expecting her to pull something out of it.
Well, she's gonna start her little cadence in rhyming soon, like in a couple minutes.
She's setting it up right now.
Okay, let me play the rest of it.
English language to a higher frequency through our linguistic creativity and naturally occurring verbal eccentricities, then ultimately even clatter from our idle chatter, prattle patter, blabber blather and palaver as we jabber gab in Babylon will turn our own terms from verbal vapor, either hanging in the
She's
cast a spell right now or no?
Yeah, she's talking to Moloch. She's invoking the spirit of Moloch, my friend. She talked about Babylon.
Well,
she went straight to Babylon.
The man hasn't said a word to her, asked her anything, and she went right into this cadence and this rhyming words. That's when I had to stop. I don't know. Do you guys want me to finish playing or not?
You can play it through. I mean, there's nothing that invokes any of us.
Okay.
Right? This isn't directed at anyone, unless you understand what she's saying and you accept what she's saying. It has no power over you.
I just thought she had a stroke.
I can't even believe I'm considering this, Dustin. This is you, man, doing this to me. Well, okay, I'm gonna play it. Huh? Go ahead. What?
But that's what it is. I mean, it sounds crazy, but there are people, and I guarantee this lady's used to it. There are people that will bend over backwards to her because they think she has some kind of knowledge, right? And because they're related to families with money, that's how this whole thing works, right? It all revolves back around this family that started by the name of Pacor. Pacor was the original family that started the very first bank. And I bet you she knows all about that. I bet you anything that this lady knows that history with the family of the Pacer history because she's bringing up Babylon. That's how I know.
Yeah, but what do you think she is within this? Is she like a witch or just somebody pretending to be one, or what is going on with her? In your opinion?
I wouldn't call her a witch. I think she could cast a spell if she needed to, but I bet you she's more of a liaison, like a legal representative. She's the head of a group of people that, like a spokesperson. She doesn't have power, but she has the ear of people that do.
Okay, let's hear the rest of her rhyme. Let's see.
The air are trapped on paper into tiny bits of shiny matter as we gather, chat, and natter on, and with new skill at thrilling statements that instill fulfilling imagery of higher possibilities, will finally still the quiet riot of the wild child's manic panic through the mind, so we can flip the switch, enlightening every circuit of our consciousness with the electric surge of verbiage that encourages superb and selfless services to spread from soul to soul around the globe by what is said in all the light years up ahead. And then from the islands of silence between all that's spoken, we will listen as doors to the heartland spring open.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to show you how to.
So what she's doing there is she's putting out dog comms, right? So that was a list of orders to like the factions.
Wait a minute. She sent a message to factions, you're saying?
Yeah. So, like, if you listen to what she was saying, okay. I mean, you'd have to read it. But it's not. So you don't want to listen to it like it's a spell. That wasn't. I mean, there was elements of a spell in there. Like, she was trying to distract you by putting a bunch of word salad together. but that wasn't like that was a list of things that need to happen.
Okay, I got you. But I know you mentioned the mind, the quietness of your mind, and that could be pretty weird when you think about it. All right, I'm gonna
She's
play.
telling you that they're going to play a trick on you.
Okay, I'm gonna play the
Okay,
rest. I skipped that commercial, so I'm gonna play the rest. A little bit
Copy
more.
that.
A little bit more.
Thank
That is
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So, what's interesting is you're obviously a native speaking English speaker, and you reference the English language. It seems that this is probably a phenomenon, this phenomenon that you're getting to, that is in every different language in many different ways.
Yes.
But as I was preparing for this podcast and a thought, we ascribe a lot of cultural differences to a culture, potentially different genetic dispositions, climates, a lot of things. The one thing that I don't think we've looked at is how the language itself is shaping the individuals who grew up speaking that language.
Yes.
And I was, it's curious for me to kind of explore that pathway for you as well. And of course, we'll be focusing on English because that's the language that we're speaking in here now. And that's the language of the listeners. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be listening. But fundamentally, I'm just curious if you've kind of taken a circumspect view of the rest of the languages in the world, talked to other linguistic, kind of people of your similar mind and explored this.
A little bit. In the 80s, I read a book called On Puns. I'll have to, I think I know the editor, a collection of essays by linguists, and mostly they were talking about other languages and puns in other languages. And it's just so interesting what words come together to resonate at the same frequency, yet be very heterogeneous in their meaning. And I recognized early that words may be more connected through sound than through meaning. So yes, it happens in every language. It's just that English has so many languages in it.
Yeah.
And so some, I think, did, I think the language was salted with contradiction.
So conscious manipulation of
Yeah,
our language.
because that goes
which
on.
is what you mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens right today.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so interesting. I recently came across a quote that, I don't have the complete quote, but it's by Thucydides, the Greek general and historian, writing about the war between Athens and Sparta. And he said the greatest horror of all was the corruption of the language. And Confucius said the first thing he would do if given charge of the administration of a country would be to correct the language.
I think it's one of the big tasks of a philosopher or a poet is to actually start to clean the language in a way that you can use it without infecting the person that you're delivering and incepting the idea of the word into from all of the baggage that it's been associated with. Like the word God is a dirty word in the language for so many people. And that's a shame. It's a good word. It's a good word. So cleaning that up, the word love has become reduced. I think Don Miguel Ruiz calls love the fallen angel because it doesn't really mean the same thing. People think love hurts, like they have all of these associations. Well, it's never actually the love that hurts.
Right.
It's the way that your mind has responded to the ego's desires and your attachments that actually hurts. And so cleaning language has been one of my own pathways of thought. But the idea of actually sometimes we may be trying to clean something that's baked into the nature of the word itself. And so maybe we need a new word.
Oh, I completely agree. I think in some cases it's about tuning up an existing word. And in other cases, it's about bringing through new words.
Yeah.
Like I upgraded intelligent to intelligental because there's really nothing smart about a brain without a heart. Although it seems to be the ultimate seduction because it grants us unchecked power, but just to bring our darkest hour, for it endows us with a genius for destruction. So yes, tuning up and reinvention. And two things in regards to that. One is kind of peripheral. People have looked at the secret spells of the language. I also share sacred pathwords, which are words that reflect our innate genius to us and remind us of what we already know. And the simplest example is the fact that earth and heart are the same word. And it's just where you put the H. So ask any semi-literate child, what do you suppose is the implication of this connection? And wonderful answers come out. And ask yourself, ask others. It's like there's so much to contemplate in this convergence. And okay, I'll put that away for a moment. But so, yes, I think it's time to become more aware, to find more of these sacred pathwords. One of my favorite I've used, and people are have it in poetry and such. I was walking in a park overlooking the ocean. This was years ago, and I said to my invisible friends, give me a new word. And they gave me the true meaning of beautiful. And all of these are just self-evident.
Invisible friends.
To be truly beautiful.
Dude,
to
I can tear this lady apart, break her down section by section. She's telling you exactly what I've been screaming about. Oh, she said, first there's the genius for destruction, and then she said that there's what was it? Something about the invention. She's telling you that you have to first tear down, then rebuild. Okay, she's telling you this, and she's making it sound like it's la-di-da, but she's literally telling you, we're going to tear down your system, and then from the ashes will arise this new system that we're just going to brainwash you into thinking is better. It's exactly what she's telling you.
So she's sending out a message then, huh? I mean, she's not just
Yep.
talking, she's sending a message out. Because this guy speaks
Well,
about
she's
yes. Now, when
she's declaring her intent.
When she said earth and heart have the same letters and just different order, what is that something that they use, or is she just using that baloney?
No, I mean, if you look at the way they're spelled, there's definitely, I mean, the letters definitely line up, but that's, she's trying to tell you about the ability to mess up language between people. She invoked Babylon right off the very gate. Okay, yeah. What you got to understand is everything that she did, everything she said in the first applies to everything that she said in the reverse, and conversely, all those individual points are related to each other, and they all apply to each other. There's no one point where you can start at this where you couldn't say it wasn't related to the beginning or the end. That's how she does it. She's trying to brainwash you.
Mm-hmm. The general audience, or this guy in particular? What would you say about that?
Well, there are people that are listening to her that knows what she's saying, and then there are people that are listening to her that what she's saying is going into the back of their brain. Mm-hmm. Every single person here heard what she said. Right. They know what the words mean. What doesn't make sense is the order she picked them in. So, like any good dyslexic person, if you're given enough information in a jumbled order, you'll start putting it together.
I got you. Yeah. Well, it's interesting to me because I know this doesn't seem like a Christian subject, and probably not. But when Scripture says that the power of life or death is in the tongue, that means that words have meaning, and she's talking about word spells and things like that. So I can see that how words can affect things, or just speech in itself. And then we know that everything was created by the Word of God, which we call Jesus Christ.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct.
Somebody knows the power of words in this carnal world, and it seems like that she may be one of them. To me, I don't know.
She doesn't understand. Okay, so she has education. Okay, she knows certain things, but I don't think she has. I mean, they don't parade people like that on shows like this, right? They don't They don't do that. She's not like related to anybody. She's just a spokesperson who's here because she's getting paid to do it.
Okay. And the rhymes and things she does, she threw another set of rhymes in the middle of her words there. That's just to make her sound more legit, or is that?
I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds scripted to me. I don't think that's something that came from her.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I think she's getting paid to say this.
Yeah, she definitely memorized. You could tell it wasn't just like a spare of the moment. Okay. You guys want to finish watching, or you seen enough?
I'll finish her up.
Is that okay? Would you?
I don't mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
There's not much left. Don't look like that went by fast. Oh, did I push it? Oh, that. All right. Here we go.
Some self. There is nothing as exquisitely beautiful than old being who is true to who they are. And it's so funny, the word noble, I mean, it's self-defining. It's like noble. It's integrity. It's like you were talking in your trip report with Blue about the true king and the imposter. I mean, it was wonderful. And we all know that. And I have a poem on the letter I, because just as we have two eyes on our face, there are two eyes in the alphabet, and they talk about our higher and lower self, and the yo-yo effect. So yes, it's in every language. All languages pun. I have a quote somewhere that the difference between languages is a singular way of making puns. and I'm always interested in what is the electro-poetic force that causes words to migrate across continents, cultures, and centuries to come into the same vibration.
So this is kind of getting into another question that I had, which is, you could look at these and say, coincidence. It's beautiful that you came up with that, like BA,
beautiful.
Yeah, that's great, but it's a coincidence. Noble coincidence. But what you're kind of hinting at is that it's almost as if the words came into form in a particular way, and a subconscious manifestation where that word actually came into existence because it was in resonance with certain other sounds and different other ways that words were put together, and those are the words that stuck, and other words kind of fell away. So it was almost like a evolutionary selection of our language that creates these interesting synchronicities.
Who knows? But let's look at the word coincidence. It's a word that labels and then dismisses as insignificant. And what it's saying is a coincidence. But it's not looking at, well, what are these two disparate elements doing sitting next to each other at a coffee shop? And I don't know if you heard from Christian, but when I flew, I guess it was yesterday, a packed airplane, I sit between two fellows, engage in conversation with one of them. He was going to Kansas to meet with his cousin to go to a Dodger game, and he asked what I was doing. So I told him about our upcoming conversation, and he said, oh, my cousin was Aubrey's marketing manager until they sold the company last year.
Wow.
Mike, it sounded like Spadier or something.
Yeah, Mike.
And so then I arrive.
Shout out to Mike.
I arrive and I go on a little walk, and I have my parasol, and this beautiful young woman stopped me at an ice cream shop and to comment on my
parasol.
Well, and my way of being.
Yes. The whole vibe, the whole thing.
And so
how dare I be reductionist and assume that she was complimenting only your parasol? It's never only the parasol.
No, it's the gestalt, the whole energetic being.
Exactly.
So we exchanged names, and she asked what I was doing here, and I told her, and she said, oh, I was Aubrey's personal assistant for 4 or 5 years. A beautiful young woman named Jenna. She said, I can't speak highly enough of him. And she took a picture of us and sent it to you, so you might find it.
All right.
So those are inside dances. And we don't know what is the force we're working in because we're so ignorant. I mean, we are a fish in water, but I think in our case, rather blind to the substance in which we dwell, I think we're living in an echo chamber and a hall of mirrors, and that language is constantly echoing and reflecting either cultural consciousness or innate human wisdom. And because we have been deafened to our definitions, we are clueless. And yet the language is constantly echoing and reflecting, talking back to us, in some cases contradicting and undermining, in other cases offering a little jeweled gift, if we would but notice.
I mean, yeah, what she's saying is backed up by most of what. So, I guess, for lack of a better term, what I read in the Necronomicon, she took what our basic principles and threw a new age twist on it, threw a little bit of word salad in there, and then basically told you, look, we're just here to fuck shit up. That's all she was saying the whole time.
No, really, yeah. Well,
If you could please remember the language, there, Dustin.
My bad.
I have to interrupt. I need to run to the store. Everyone good?
Yeah, we're good, Pastor.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I pick you up anything while I'm out? That's a joke.
I would love a Dr. Pepper, actually.
All right,
take
I'll
some,
pick one up.
Slim
Tom,
Jim.
how about you? I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
I'm getting
right,
there.
Pastor.
Next,
Much
I'll
love.
be packing my suitcase.
So,
All right.
Dustin, if I could ask you something, she claims that she ran into this guy that she's on pure coincidences. These two people that work with the guy, the interviewer. Does that have anything to do with these spells or anything, or what's that about?
There's no coincidence. That lady doesn't go anywhere without it being planned months in advance.
Okay, that's what it was.
Okay.
And what about symbolism? I
it's
noticed she had a dragonfly on her dress. Does that mean anything prominently towards the camera? Does that mean anything in these people who do these things? Symbolism, like
the dragon. The dragon symbolizes the snake in the garden.
Yeah, she had that prominently, a big dragonfly. I don't know if you guys noticed that on her. I was wondering if that had anything to do with it. And she, of course, she would make the 666 hand signs, that thing. She'd do that as well several times in there. What else did I notice? She mentioned that we were fish out of water. Like, what's the name of that fish god? Proverbs, do you remember?
Oh,
Dagon? Right? Dagon, isn't it called?
Yeah, Dagon is the fish god.
Okay, she mentioned we're fishing out of water, in water. She said in water, not out of water. We're fish in water. So I'm just wondering, them things mean anything, or just coincidence that they happen to be in there?
They mean things, but they're probably coded. So, like, when you pick on certain things like that, they're probably, like, she probably has splinter cells out there that are told to watch this, right? And then they have a super secret coder book in the back, right? If I say this word before this word, it means this.
You know what? I need to look her up.
Right?
I'm gonna look her up on there and see if she's a prominent figure, where she come from. But the whole purpose of her being on it, you believe, was to subconsciously let us know that they're going to tear everything down and build it back up, right? Is that what you said?
Well, yeah, and like, so, and the way this works is, okay, they have plans. Like 9/11 was a plan. That plan was put into place a long time ago, right? And so there's this one person who authorized this operation, right? And they're watching these people, and these people are told to do certain things. And the more reliable a person is, the further along they get along in the program, right?
Okay.
Until someday you have 7 different people that are ready to hijack a plane and fly it into a building. That there's no difference here. Okay? They do the spell is the chaos. The chaos is equal to the trick. These three things all have to be present in order for the magic to happen. Kind of like fire. You need fuel, you need air, and you need a spark. Right? If one of these three things is missing, you're not getting the result you expect.
Right. Well, that's very interesting.
So, yeah, in order for the magic to work, it takes like there's a certain element that has to come from Satan, right? But that element can come in many different forms. And then there's a certain element that has to come from humans. And then there's a certain element that has to be like a dark will of intent, right? Like, and it can't be Satan's dark will of intent. Satan has to align himself with your will, right? And it may be something that you were influenced to do in the first place. Like I wouldn't put it past him, but you see where I'm going with this?
Right. But it's on you basically to. It sounds like you're saying it's on you to be conducive to the idea, right? That he wants to put in your mind.
Well,
you can't do it without you wanting.
If you want the Holy Spirit to move in your life and see miracles, you have to obey the commandments. You have to have a good relationship with Christ, and you have to pray regularly. The same is true for the other side. Only substitute pray with cast spell, and substitute have a good relationship with always do what you're told.
I got you. Yeah, because it always reflects what God's doing, right? Like the opposite. Just about the opposite. Yeah. Hey, I gotta take a break. I'll be right back. I don't know if you want to put me backstage for a minute, Prophet Guy, or what, but
Yeah, that's fine. I'll put you backstage for a minute, bud.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay, so go on, Dustin, because we're getting some good stuff here. So you're saying basically it's the same system, but just opposite.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want Satan in your life, let's explain it this way. If you want to have the power over the demon that's in your life, you have to have a good relationship with Satan. It's really just that simple. Like, the Satan or the demon, just because you're in possession, it doesn't mean you don't have the power to fight. See, because your will is a huge part of it. There is involuntary movement. You see a lot of people sleepwalking. That's not like they try and explain it with science, but ask a doctor to explain to you how anesthesia works. We don't even understand how that works today. So
how anesthesia works?
Yeah, go ahead and look it up. There's still not a solid explanation on how that works. Anyway, where I was going with that is that if they don't have the ability to tell you when an anesthetic procedure takes effect, then they don't really have the ability to tell you what consciousness is in control. Right? Like, I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch. I'm trying to get you to leap, but what I'm getting at is that demon possession is a lot more prevalent than we pretend. Have you ever heard of Derek Prince? I feel like I'm talking to myself now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I am a big fan of Derek Prince. He does a lot of work on breaking like generational curses.
That guy knows his stuff, man. Yeah, I've already said it. I gotta stick with it. Derek Prince is one of those guys who was like related to somebody and got the snot scared out of him like I did. Right?
Oh,
I
is
see
that
it.
how he got his origins, man?
I see it in his eyes, man. I see it in his eyes. That man is deathly afraid of Satan, like I am. I am deathly afraid of that man.
Hey,
Yeah.
Christian's out in the audience. He says hello. And Diploma
What's
Mill
up, Christian?
Doc, who is really Mark Stoney, is out there. Well, it's either Mark Stoney or it's Atheist AJ. I kind of lean more towards Mark Stoney from what's been confirmed to me.
What?
But yeah,
What do you understand about it? What do you understand about anesthesia, there, Doc Mill? Go ahead, give us an explanation. Let's see what you have to say on the subject.
That's ironic because that profile was made to make fun of Kent for claiming to be a doctor when he's not. And here he is trying to give medical advice on the live stream. Dr.
Right?
Diploma Mill Doc. That's hilarious. Talk about hypocrites, man.
Yeah. What? Come on, Diploma Mill, whatever, dude. Come on, bro. How does anesthesia work? Give us an explanation.
We have nothing but time.
I got all day.
Now, I can't say one way or the other if it's understandable or not, but
They no need to tell lies about the Proverbs guy. Who the hell are you?
I don't know. He's one of those cowards that hide behind a fake face, so I don't really respect him anyways.
Bro, just answer the question. How does anesthesia work?
Don't
I
you
bet
understand?
he's trying to Google it right now.
They can't build anything themselves, Dustin. All they know how to do is what the enemy has allowed them to do. Our enemy, that Satan I'm talking about. They work directly for Satan. All they know how to do is tear down and destroy. They don't know how to build up or build anything themselves. Not spiritually, not emotionally, not physically. Like, they can't offer constructive advice. They can only tear down. So you can't take their comments to heart, man. You will go crazy trying to keep up with these devil worshippers.
I just wanted to see if he had some good explanation for how anesthesia works. Because I know for a fact they don't. What it's so. Okay, I know it's kind of a wild, off the brand point, but there was a reason I was bringing it up, and it was due to our understanding of consciousness.
Yeah.
Right, and where that fine line lies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they don't know at what point does the communication in the brain break down.
Right.
Right. So that's how pain is perceived, is because there's a communication between the left and the right side of the hemisphere. If there's something that's going on in the nervous system that's unbalanced, the brain gives a comparison in the chemical pathways, and the electrical system balances it out. Right? Because you usually end up with a signal from the nerve that's chemical induced. When you get a signal that's sent from the brain, it travels down the pathway, right? And the release of of dendrochromatic sacs of this fluid is the result of a chemical response, right? And they don't know at what point. The anesthesia breaks down that communication so that I can slice your leg off and you don't know about it. So if they don't have enough knowledge of something that they use regularly in medical procedures, who am I going to go to about a mental procedure or a mental prognosis Okay. Now, I'm not saying that every single mental deficiency in a human person is Satan or a devil or possession, but I'd be willing to bet that a lot of them were caused by that. And there's no official professional that's going to even engage in that kind of a conversation. So it kind of makes it a hard point to prove.
You know, here's
Anesthesia
my
puts you in
issue.
his
I
place.
can't I don't know medical terminology, and I really have never even thought about looking up how anesthesia works. So I can't confirm what you're saying as truth or not. It sounds legitimate to me. Like I have no reason to think you're lying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, we'll see. But then you look at what diploma meant. That's a simplistic explanation. So you're saying that a person being drunk, if I was to start cutting your leg off, if you were passed out drunk, you wouldn't wake up and feel it? Like, I think you're oversimplifying the explanation there, Diploma Mill. It doesn't just put you into a state of unconsciousness. It numbs pain.
Well, yeah, because you would think, okay, they knocked out soldiers during the American Civil War with different techniques, but as soon as they started sawing off the legs, these people would wake up. So obviously, the
Yeah.
anesthesia has to be more than just being in a state of unconsciousness. I mean, that's
Anesthesia was
that's a
if
really
I
simplistic way of explaining it.
and the other end of the equation is if I remember correctly, I'm pulling this from dead memory, but I believe the first anesthesia was derived from a pufferfish.
I
I'm
want to
pulling
say that
from
sounds familiar. I know the pufferfishes are poisonous, and they have used them. I want to say they used to use it to make a poison that would slow down the heartbeat. And it would slow down the heartbeat enough to where people would think you were dead. And you could fake your death way back in the day.
a neurotoxin that was derived from the pufferfish. Yeah, the first
Right.
anesthesia was derived from the pufferfish, if I'm remembering that correct. So and they knew about that back in the I mean, it was documented back in the 1700s. They probably knew it from before, but they had an actual medical record from that period, and that's how anesthesia was popularized today. Right? I mean, my point is that God gives us the herbs of the earth to cure the illnesses. We're using herbs of the earth to cure the illnesses, but we're blaming it on some other kind of scientific explanation that I don't know, man. It's weird.
I forget how we got started on that topic, though, to be honest with you.
We were talking about demon possessions and bunch of different
What was the
stuff.
correlation? Yeah, we've had good conversation, man. I always enjoy when you come on, Dustin.
That lady who was telling us about, Stump was put the lady on, and I was trying to explain. We ended up going into splinter cells and consciousness. So the idea is that there's a subconscious, okay? Right? We all know that there's the subconsciousness. Okay? Right? So that lady implanted things in her little spiel there. I say that lady, but the reality is that was rehearsed.
Let me just address this real quick, Dustin. No, Diploma Mill Doc, you're not blocked. I only block cowards like Mark Stoney who have agendas against Christianity and are real despicable human beings. And I also block people like Aiden who openly mock our God and faith. So as long as you don't do those things, you're safe. Go ahead, Dustin. You got the floor, bud.
Okay. So, you know how I was telling you that we occupy two different spaces?
Okay, yep.
Remember that? Okay. So, our body has the ability to be conscious and alive, and then it's turned off. So, there's a connection. There's a sender, and we are the receiver. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. When she keeps talking about the vibrational field, she's talking about, like, you and I, we're probably about 3,400 some odd miles apart. Okay? But as I'm talking to you and you are talking to me, there is electrical impulses going on inside of this phone that represents the chemical imbalances and the electrical responses inside of our brain, that allows that interconnection between the two of us that we call understanding. The reality is the connection that we are sharing on this phone allows for our two physical bodies to interact with each other, thereby creating a connection with our essence, so to speak, on the other side, no matter the distance, like string or like quantum communication. That's what she's referring to. She's taking a very ancient Hindu concept and she's putting it into a new age, hippie, voodoo kind of splat. This is like the only word I can use for that long, drawn out publicity stunt.
It's interesting that you
See
mentioned.
what I'm saying? Go ahead, Stump.
No, I was saying it was just interesting the way you mentioned the internet, because when we were talking about the Trinity, and the way I understand the Trinity, that's what came to my mind is how this internet works, right? And probably to give away one of my things for tomorrow is like, for instance, right? I'm here, right? This is me. The internet you see me on is like I would equate, just to try to give us a real life experience, the Holy Spirit, right? It goes out, it could go out everywhere, all around, whoever wants to see it. Then now this is my word, right? And it's all me. It's all me. I think that's how we should view the aspect of the Trinity. And you mentioned, I just brought that forward. But another reason why I was interested in that woman was because Scripture talks about how powerful the tongue is. I mean, how powerful words are. I mean, and I think,
yeah, the words of the mouth can be foul of the body.
Yeah. Well, let me read James real quick. Read a piece of Scripture in the middle of this, so we don't seem like we're witches on this channel or something. I'm sure somebody's
bro. I love you, Stump. I love you, man.
Someone coming in right now to a Christian channel would be like, "What is this? Witchcraft?" Let me see. Oh, here it is. How about James 3:5 says, "Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a word of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defile the whole body and setteth on fire the course of nature. And it is set on fire of hell." I mean, words are important in Scripture, man. And that hearing that lady speak like that really, and remember what you said, Dustin, about words and things, really draw my attention to that. I was really interested and curious what you thought about it.
Do you remember Yoda?
Star Wars
Yoda from Star Wars? Yeah, Star Wars
yeah.
Yoda. Go back and listen to his words sometimes. Okay.
I never really saw that. What does he do? Speak gibberish?
Well, he jumbles his words, but if you go back and you listen, the whole time he's casting a spell.
I can believe that.
The whole time.
I can believe that. Probably a spell to make you watch that movie over and over. I was never a fan of it, but I know people who love that movies. They'll watch them over and over again. So yeah, I don't know if that was a spell or not, but I could see that possibility.
Michikabula, or some crazy stuff. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's,
they do that kind of a thing, bro.
what is that
Like
from? What is
they're
that
trying
from?
to. That was from Cinderella.
Cinderella. Yeah, Cinderella.
Yeah, Cinderella.
Yeah, so we know
It,
that
um,
Disney's not exactly pure like they say they are. They're part of all that, right? Casting spells and all that.
oh, Disney's the 33rd degree Mason, bro.
Yeah,
They
that's
have clubs
right.
called yeah. Yeah, the Disney's always been bad. Disney.
I got to look for you kids. What was it recently? Something. I can't remember what it was
Disney is a
recently.
wicked corporation.
You know, something they did was outrageous. I forgot what it was, like totally outrageous. I forgot what Disney did, but whatever. They're the ones you always see where people catch these cartoons and they slow it down, and you see like I remember one for sure was in Lion King where the word sex came up.
The
Was
Lion
written
King had sex in the stars. The Little Mermaid had a scene where she came up out of the water topless. The Muskrats in Paris, or whatever it's called, there's a scene where they fly past a window and there's a naked topless woman in the window. Like, Disney's full of raunchy stuff. And now they're pushing the gay
Yeah.
agenda super hard and heavy.
I think that's what it is now, yeah. And it's like they put them subliminal messages for kids to make them be sexualized, I believe. Otherwise, why would you do that? Just some grown men who are cartoonists playing around. They can play around on their own computer. You know what I mean? Why would you put the little things you can't really notice unless you slow it down super slow and then you see it? Why would you do that? Unless it's some type of subliminal message that you're sending to kids.
They're casting spells, man.
Yeah. Well, they
Casting
told you
spells.
what was the name of that? The mouse? What did he play? Some kind of he didn't he play Mickey Mouse?
I think it was the movie The Great Mouse Detectives.
No, but Mickey Mouse, you know, the Fantasia. From when I was a younger
Fantasia.
kid. Fantasia, where he was like a Merlin. He was like a Merlin. Mickey was a Merlin doing magic, and everybody thought it was all innocent, but they're probably telling you exactly who they are.
They have to tell you. It's one of the tenets of Satanism, right? They have to tell you what they're going to do because you have the choice. You can stop it, right? But if you don't stop it, then that's the same as you agreeing with it.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, many people who know these things too. Christians probably have their kids watching Disney Channel and all that crap. I bet you any money they do. They know what's going on. They know how evil Disney is, but they still got their kids from being pressured by them watching Disney Channel. I'm sure of it.
Hey, let me explain something to you. Okay? If a person's gonna be wicked, they were wicked from the start. Okay? I happen to know this because when I saw the opportunity to be wicked, it scared me. I fundamentally on the inside am not wicked. I have been influenced to be so.
Right.
But when I saw the opportunity, I went running. It's just so in a catch-22 kind of way, some of those kids are going to get a look. They're going to see what the real truth is, and they're going to start running. So, it's not all bad.
A lot of that stuff, like you said, is subliminal. It's like in a flash of a second, it goes by, and you won't even notice it. Your mind probably notices, like they say, but you don't really notice it consciously. I know for a fact they'd use that stuff. There's no doubt in my mind they do to try and influence you one way or the other. So, it's all about the war about your mind, right? And I think your mind is the spiritual connection to God. It's spiritual. Your mind is spiritual.
Disney World, though, they've been trying to push that gay agenda for years. I remember back in the 90s, my family was part of that big Baptist boycott of Disney. I don't know if you guys remember that or if it was just big in Florida, but we couldn't watch Disney movies. We weren't allowed to support Disney or go there for the longest time. And they were doing the gay day parades even back then when I was a child.
Really? That's what, in the 90s, early 90s?
Yeah, dude, that was the 90s. I was born in 89, and I remember it was like 10 years old when we joined the band.
I don't remember that. But you know what I noticed, too?
Disney's a rabbit hole.
But this stuff been going on forever. Like, these people that pull the stuff, they're very patient. They can wait, like, centuries for stuff to go through because...
Well, they do. You're right. They play the long game, Stump.
Oh, yeah. They have no problem with it. You look at these old movies that you used to, thought were cute and you laugh at them. And half the time there's a man dressed like a woman in it. Like almost every time. There's some man dressing up like a woman for comedy purposes. But that's all starts moving you towards the idea that this is okay. I was just watching one today with the Three Stooges, were one of my childhood heroes, and they sure enough, one of them was dressed like a woman. There it goes. I'm like, wow, never paid attention to that before.
Oh man.
There's a long-term agenda that they push, and they're patient with it, more patient than I would be. But like you said, when you boycott, that's what you got to do. If you're a believer in a Christian, they're evil. You don't let your kids watch that stuff. I don't care what. And half the time is because when you were a child, these were things you did, so you wanted to let your kid do them. But now that you have knowledge of what they are, I don't think you should let them have your kids on Disney Channel and all that crazy stuff. I'm gonna try to see what the last thing was that they were like outrageous. I forgot, it was on this one show I saw. Let's see if I can find it. You guys ever watch A Minute to Midnight?
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's actually a good show. He talks about current affairs and things, and he was talking about Disney. I want to see if I can find it. Let me see.
Yeah, Disney used to flex their muscles, and all the governors would just bend over backwards and give them whatever they want. They even had self-governing status my whole life. And then Governor DeSantis finally took a stand against them. Thank God.
So they were like their own Vatican. And was that what it was like? Yeah.
It pretty much exactly was like that.
Wow.
Welcome back to the show,
Walmart's
Dustin.
like that. I didn't go anywhere. Did I go somewhere?
It looked like you did. It looked like you left and came back. I don't know.
Weird. Dude, I'm telling you, bro. I'm getting like it's okay. So like I'm being attacked. There's no other way to explain it.
It's not just you, though. I told you. I scrolled through
I
Facebook
know.
earlier, and person after person, and I have Christian friends, I have Messianic friends, I have friends from every denomination, and I'm telling you, dude, the one correlation, the one factor that they all had in common is they were all asking for prayer for spiritual attacks. Like, it was eerie how many of them were under spiritual attack.
Yeah, it's haggard right now. So it's almost like I'm trying to. It's hard to explain, right? Like, there's a lot of what you call witchcraft that's literally pure mathematical mechanics. Okay? But there are some things about it that are just unexplainable. When you're in the right frame of mind, and I've seen this, there are people who can tell you like intimate details about the perfect stranger across the room. Like, you'd have to be there, I guess. It's just uncanny.
I think it just shows the power of the mind, though. I mean, your mind is so powerful. I mean, I noticed just from like when I was younger playing sports, and if my mind was in the right mind frame, I could do things that were like I thought was almost superhuman. I'm not bragging on myself. I'm not good at any of that stuff really good, but I enjoyed playing sports. And when my mind frame was right, I could almost picture what was going to happen, and it happened in slow motion for me, where otherwise when something might happen at regular speed. But it seemed, honestly, this is the truth. It seemed like when I was in this right frame of mind, everything would be in slow motion to me, and everything was so easy. It was easy to get to the ball when it was hit in a bad spot where no one could get to it. I could get there because my mind frame was right. I think your mind is so powerful that we don't understand it. And to me, it's a connection back to our spirituals before. That's what I believe. That's why it's strange to hear from a Christian.
Stump, in those times, that was not you. That was the Holy Spirit, my friend.
Yeah, but
okay?
I wasn't. I mean, I don't think the Holy Spirit helps you with a sports game,
Oh, no. Listen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Power does not come from your performance. Power comes from Well, especially on your side of the equation, comes from when you accomplish a goal. Okay, when you're casting a spell, it's not to accomplish a goal. It's to harm someone that's in your way. It's to remove obstacles, right? When you you're of Christ, and this is something that witches know. There's a reason that we steer clear from you, because you have a habit of undoing all of our deeds.
Okay.
Right? Okay? So your power comes from like the source. Our power is secondhand,
Talk about
so to
Christian
speak.
power. Christian power comes from
Christians versus like Wiccans or pagans.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like there's the Crusades, for crying out loud. There was the Salem witch trial. Not every single one of those women were not witches.
I can believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, some of them were, right?
I mean,
So
I
there
believe
was
the majority of them weren't, to be honest.
You said they were or weren't?
I believe the majority of the people who were charged in the Salem witch trials were not witches.
Oh yeah.
there was once the first one. So there was 7 original witches. Okay, like they actually did practice Satan worship, but then after the cat got out of the bag, and it became like a mock trial, and that was witchcraft. They cursed those people, and that's what happened, because those people were the ones that were responsible. Well, once the cat was out of the bag, now anybody who didn't do what the norm was actually ended up getting called a witch.
Yeah. It's I don't know what that could be exactly, but there are witches. We know there are witches, and the people who claim to be witches. I mean, could they perform things that they say they can? I don't know. Justin, you believe that they can, and I'm trying to connect it through the mind, because what else can it be? Or well, you're saying Satan is Satan behind witchcraft? You think?
Who else could it be? Because God curses you. Okay, Satan was cursed. Satan takes what God gives them and uses it. So, I mean, if Satan is cursed, that would give me the idea that Satan has the ability to curse.
Yeah. Well, I don't think witches never associate themselves with Satan, do they? Outright, like they don't claim to be Satanists, do they?
They say that they don't want to be in the presence of Satan. They want to abate Satan. They put salt around their doorways to restrict Satan. Something about salt keeps him out.
I thought that was for
Really?
I thought that was for demons and ghosts.
And Satan. There's certain things that Satan has to obey.
I never heard that, salt around the door, huh? I've looked into witchcraft for some reason, maybe just part of studying scripture, but I know they do all kind of things. Like I think one of them is calling down the moon, and I know about the mirrors, whatever they do with the mirrors. I've heard about that. So there's people that believe this is real, but unless it's supernatural, it has to be. I don't understand how it could be. How could it be real? But people say it is, right?
That's
if I can share, I was going to share that Disney.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a book that I did. Let me share it. You guys, I'm just going to share the cover. I'm not going to share the whole video because it's long. Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong thing as usual. Share.
Christian says the only person putting salt at their doorway is the 15-year-old goth girl in high school. I did always find, I don't know if I believe that or not, but I did always find it a really eerie connection that believers are the salt of the earth, and supposedly demons and ghosts can't pass through salt. I don't know. I'm not saying it's valid. I just thought that was a weird, eerie connection.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when you said that. That's the first thing I thought of. You guys see what the book from Disney that I was putting up? You guys see that? Screen?
Not yet.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
And there you go. That's how they're direct now. They don't even try to hide it. This is supposed to be
yeah. Disney stopped trying to hide it a long time ago, man.
Yeah, I
Moloch
remember
spells,
this
but yeah.
I mean, you got a dragon on the cover, and you got young teens that are involved with this. So,
Yes, yeah, absolutely. This is exactly how it started.
Dude, look at
have
their
a book,
movies.
son.
Look at the movies they came out with back in the 90s. Like, look at that movie Halloween Town, all about witches.
oh, I never even heard of that. Was that from Disney? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Disney has produced so many kids shows and movies on witchcraft. I mean, going all the way back to like the 70s, I think, is when they did that first one. It was Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But you know, when you saw that, it was a cartoon, and you thought, was that a cartoon or was that real?
No, that was a live action movie.
Live action, but it still was kind of like cute, you know, like funny. But
yeah, but if you remember, that was like the toe in the doorway. And now look at where we're at. We have these children's witchcraft books, but it started with the cute, innocent stuff, you know, the Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Right,
Oh, these are good witches.
Right. And you're naive. And of course, when that came out, I wasn't a Christian. I didn't have no idea what it meant to be Christian. Yeah, but they know how to. Like I said, they have an agenda, and they move slowly. They don't care. They take their time. They're very patient, little devils. They are.
Unfortunately, they really are.
Yeah.
They're not patient. They can't sleep at night. The demon won't let them sleep at night until they get something done.
Oh, I can believe that too. Some of them look pretty bad when you see them. They look haggard and tired all the time. I don't know. The ones I've seen.
Yeah, look at George Soros.
I've never seen a happy witch. I don't know if you guys have. I've never seen a happy witch.
That lady's not happy. That lady was not happy. That lady, she thinks she's happy because she gets to go home and get high, but she was not happy.
Yeah, she was interesting. The way she spelled her name and everything was interesting. Actually, that was her last name, I think. That wasn't her first name. It couldn't be her last name. It could have been. I don't know. She could have either one. It was Laurel Erico, A-I-R.
Yeah, that's the weirdest name I've ever seen spelled like Erica.
Yeah, it was unusual. I looked it on the internet. There's other ones too, but first time I ever saw it. So it almost sounds like a druid or a pagan name or something to me.
That's crazy, Stump, because when you first spelled it, I was like, man, that almost sounds druid.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me too, just listening to it. The power of the air.
That's all we need. A druish princess.
Mel Brooks.
A Jewish princess. Yeah, it's crazy.
A druish.
I love Mel Brooks. That guy, he was funny. Is he still alive?
Mel Brooks?
No.
I don't know anything about him. I don't know. He was old back when he was making movies in the 70s, I think. He was pretty old.
He sure did give us some classics, man. Mighty Python and the Holy Grail. It's one of my favorite old-time movies.
Yeah. He was a funny guy. He had a good sense of humor.
He did.
Who was the other guy? The guy with the glass? Alan. I never got him too much. What was his name?
Are you talking about Gene Wilder?
No. The guy who used to write movies who molested his stepdaughter. Something Allen. With glasses.
You're going to have to be more specific.
Yeah, what movies did he do?
Bananas was one of them. Yeah, it was like off-color stuff. What was it? Not Marty Allen. His name was Allen. He was a Jewish comedian. That you guys remember him? Maybe I'm older than you guys. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm older than you guys. That's why you don't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but I mean,
the thing is, though, is like with my dad, we grew up watching the older movies, the stuff that he was into, which would be your generation. Like, I didn't listen to anything but the oldies until I was like 16. Up until that point, I listened to my dad's music, you know?
Yeah, he was around the same time as Mel Brooks. He'd be out with movies in the 70s and 80s. I can't remember. You remember the guy who molested his daughter? She was a stepdaughter. They had him on trial, and he was fleeing to another country. You guys just don't know him. I can't remember his name.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. What the heck? No.
I did hear Tom Hanks had some connections to the Harvey Weinstein, or
his name was Polanski. He was married to Sharon Tate.
No, not him. Not him. No, Alan. You don't remember?
There's so many of them.
You,
You
Yeah,
talking
we
about
got to
Fred
weed through
Allen?
pedophiles here.
You
I
talking
know
about
Father
Fred
Travis.
Allen?
Who?
Fred Allen.
No, Alan.
Steven Spielberg.
Did you ever see? He was like in the 70s. He made the movie Bananas. It was called Bananas. I remember that movie. He was a real
Oh,
skinny,
you're
little
talking
weird looking
about
guy.
he wears the big glasses.
Right.
Woody Allen. We have
Woody
some
Allen.
really interesting
Woody
guesses
Allen.
coming up in the chat, guys. We have Steven Spielberg, Woody Allen.
It was Woody
Allen. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. You guys never heard of him?
Well, yeah, I've heard of Woody Allen, but I didn't know he directed movies, and I think I might be thinking of a different Woody Allen. Isn't there an actor who's a Woody Allen?
Yeah, you're thinking of Woody Harrelson, I think, or Harrelson, the guy who played in White Man Can't Jump and all the movies.
Roman Polanski was accused. That's why he stayed in Poland. He was accused of diddling with a young girl.
Yeah, so was the Allen guy. Same thing with his stepdaughter, though. I think he ended up marrying her. In fact, he actually ended up marrying his stepdaughter.
Yeah. He was him and Mia Farrow had a stepdaughter from her, and he started diddling her. Yeah, okay.
And he ended up marrying her. I think he left Mia Farrow and married her. That's when I knew things about movies, but I never got his humor. I didn't understand it. It wasn't funny to me. But he was real popular, and he made a lot of money, obviously.
Oh, guys, I'm all packed. I just got to pack up my computer stuff. I'll do that later. I'm done.
Pastor, I can't believe you got packed up that quick.
And I got towels in the dryer, but that's nothing cold.
I have to start packing tomorrow.
I hate packing.
You're telling me your son doesn't have towels, Pastor? You got to bring your own towel. I'm sure he would give you your own towel.
You're right. I don't need to pack towels. I don't know what I'm thinking. I think I'm losing my mind. Right, that was a stupid thing to say. He'll have plenty of towels.
Okay, what was that? An attack? What was that?
I don't know what that was, Dustin. Are you under attack again?
No, that was me tapping on the. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you could hear that. My earphones are real selective on what they'll put through and what they won't. So I'll just turn my mic off. I was cleaning out my toothbrush.
Pastor Chuck, Brother Christian in the chat says that we all need to band together to buy you an iPad.
Wait a minute, I'm in the back bedroom.
Okay.
He was way off in the distance. That's funny.
I love Pastor Chuck. I can hear him on the other side of the house sometimes. We would be talking on Zoom, and he'd walk way off, and he'd be like, "You can still hear me?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, he's got a good microphone. Picks up everything.
He does have a great microphone. That's right, Christian. He's lifting up his voice like a trumpet. And the angels are carrying the voice. What are you looking up, Stump? You only get that look on your face when you're looking through scripture.
I was looking at what we're going to do tomorrow with the Trinity.
Yeah, tomorrow we do the Holy Trinity, and that should be a really good topic.
Yeah, I was trying to keep notes so I don't forget what I wanted to bring up.
Live from North Carolina, the Trinity.
Trinity. Well, I gave away one of my things today already. I guess you guys weren't that impressed because no.
Which one did you give away?
Oh, how the computer was like, how you could compare, because with God you can't. The only way you can understand things is what we understand through our vision and hearing. We can't understand what a true spiritual being God is and what his different parts are. So I was just trying to use an example of how we come over the computer with the sound, the vision, and the three parts, like I would compare to God in a carnal ways to try to figure out what the Trinity really means. Did you miss it? Maybe you weren't here. I thought you were here. Maybe it was so bad.
I don't remember that to save my life.
Maybe it was so bad you were like, what?
No, you know what? I'm wondering if you were going over that when I was having trouble hearing you guys.
Oh, maybe I was. Yeah.
No,
No,
he
Justin.
left. He checked out after a certain point.
Oh, Proverbs checked out after I started with my. Well, good. I'll say it for tomorrow then. That way I won't give it nothing away. I was trying to give you guys a little hint, but I'll save it for tomorrow.
So Christian says, he asks, are we planning an honest to goodness professional debate, like with notes and a lot of times? We don't really do a debate format, Christian, because we don't really try to encourage debates. We more just like it to be a bunch of believers sitting down in a living room with their Bibles open and talking theology. That's kind of the format we try to style here.
Although I did extend a challenge to what's his name, Brett Keane, to debate me about Kent Hovind on your channel.
Oh,
I was poking the
wow.
bear.
Well,
I would be happy to host a debate between you and Brett, but I really doubt he would accept it.
Oh, I think if I goad him enough, he'll do it.
Well, hey, I'll give him a fair shake, and I'll do fair allotted times and structure.
Wait a minute. I thought you guys were arch enemies. How did what?
I don't
That's
hate
exactly
Brett Keane.
right.
I just think he's, I mean, he's done some real shady stuff, and he posted some things on my channel that aren't fitting for any human being, much less a Christian. But I don't hate the guy.
You're better than me. You're very forgiveful, man. That's good. I mean, that's good. I'm not knocking you for that. I just thought for sure that was the end of that. You're a very forgiving person. That's good.
Well, God has had to forgive me for a lot, and I tried
Amen.
to bestow that same thing.
Amen. That's true. And in fact, it commands us to do it. Well, he says, if you don't forgive, he won't forgive you. That's commandment.
And I'll tell you what, I need a whole lot of
Yeah.
forgiveness, so I don't try to poke the bear, you know?
Yeah, I just need help with my forgiveness. That's all. But it's right. Yeah, I'm not knocking it. I just was surprised that he could come on here and you'd have him on. It'd be interesting. I don't think he will. I don't think does he go on anybody's show? I don't think I've ever seen him on anybody else's show.
I don't even know if he barely does his show anymore, to be honest. I haven't seen a whole lot from his
That's
channel.
where I was putting the. He's restarted his channel, but he's only got something like 12 subscribers.
Oh, he shut down the whole God TV radio or God TV. Yeah, God TV.
He did.
Brett Keane
He
TV,
did something
whatever.
weird. Yeah, he's on YouTube still, but I think he's going to start going over on Rumble. But that just gives me a bigger target.
Hey Google, turn bedroom light to 20%.
Oh, Pastor Chuck's trying to make it all romantic on us.
That's it. I don't know. It might not be enough light. That's good.
This magic
All right.
moment.
I'm ready to go to sleep, man.
Really?
I'm kidding.
What time are you leaving tomorrow?
I got, well, oh, gee, 7:30. I get the towels. Well, about 7:40. Now I'm done. You're right. I'm not taking towels with me. I don't know what I was thinking. I really don't. Until you said,
you know, if you showed up with your own towel.
That would be an insult to him. He'd think I thought he had, I don't know. What am I thinking of here?
Aaron would have berated you, Pastor, been like,
Yeah,
Dad, you don't
probably.
think I have towels for you?
What's the thing where skin used to fall off?
Scabies?
No, it's in the Bible, the disease.
Leprosy.
Leprosy, yeah. He'd say, "Oh, what, Dad? Do you think I have leprosy or something? Or you don't use my towels?" Yeah, he'd say something like that. Funny. I don't know what made me. Well, I needed to wash towels anyway. It wasn't like it was a waste, but I was going. Yeah, I was actually going to pack them. Yes, I'm not going to lie. So,
what time are you leaving in the morning?
5.
5? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I should pull with P stops and eat. I should be pulling in his driveway. You have to give yourself a big berth because it depends on if there's anyway. Between 2 and 3, I should be pulling in his driveway. So hopefully it's closer to 2. That means
what is it? A 6-hour drive from you?
6.5 if you don't hit no flat tire people or rear ending, nothing, if you had a major accident, the one trip I made down there with my grandson, Casey, the big, tall football player, it took us 13 and a half hours. They had a fatality on 95. And
Oh,
that even makes it longer because, well, God bless the family that had to go through that. But if you have a fatality, you're there. I mean, you got to wait for the coroner and all this legality stuff for them to protect themselves. So anyway, 13 and a half hours for 6.5. It took us twice the amount of time, basically. Yeah.
And you're going from Pennsylvania to where?
North Carolina.
Sounds congested area to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically 83 to the Baltimore Beltway, which is in Maryland, 695 to 95. Then it's south on 95 until, oh Lord, you're well inside North Carolina. I forget the name of the town you get off. I think it's Route 78 to. Then there's back roads you're on for about 45 minutes and I'm there. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, it's all interstate driving. Yeah.
I don't know. When I went to Pennsylvania, even the interstates were crowded to me.
Yeah, you got to hit it. You do got to hit it right. And it takes luck too, to be honest with you. That's the worst trip I ever had. 13 and a half hours. The best trip I ever made, me and my oldest daughter went together. And we made P stops. Don't ask. Well, we were flying now. I made it in 6 hours and 35 minutes, and that's with making stops. I think I hold the record. I do. Of course, I was accused of doing 95 to 100 miles an hour on 95. I said no. I don't usually go over 10 miles over the speed limit because they won't stop you for that. Them out-of-state troopers, yeah, they want to get out-of-state drivers for big fines, but they're not going to stop you for 10 miles over. They're looking for the people doing 20 miles over. Anything 80 and above, they're looking to get. Yeah, 80 mile an hour and above. So I'll say that, and I'll get stopped for doing 77 tomorrow or something. Anyway,
just have your Google on. They usually tell you when there's a traffic trap ahead.
Yeah, I do. I put
Google
all
Map
that stuff
tells you. Most of the time, I've seen where they missed them, but they usually tell you.
Sometimes they miss them, but it's pretty it's pretty accurate. Yeah, like you say.
Of course, when you're doing 120, it might be a delay. You might pass it by the time they tell you. I noticed that a lot when I was going fast.
I did do a stretch on 95. It was hardly no traffic. Well, it was the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I was doing between 95 and 100. And it's just, you have a tire blowout. And I got brand new tires on my car. That don't mean nothing. A tire could still blow out. You're dead.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
You're dead.
Yeah.
So, no, the most I go over a speed limit, seriously, and I'll set the, I'll set the cruise control 10 miles over top, So no, I'm too old to be taking chances like that.
Yeah.
Now if I was driving a Lamborghini like Big Bad Mama says I drive, that's different. No, Big Bad Mama, I drive a Subaru Forester.
It's a little different, not much.
Yeah.
Bro, I thought that was like a mega flex on that one right there.
Yeah, well,
I wish you would have went with it for just a little bit. Like you actually own a Lamborghini.
Yeah, that's all I need to put on the web. Yeah. They'll think I'm up there with Kenneth Copeland soon. Anyway.
Oh no.
No.
When you got a Lamborghini or Ferrari or something, you don't want to drive fast. Sometimes you want everybody to see you. You got to drive slow with your window open.
Well, plus cops are looking for Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Oh, I'm
If
yeah,
I
he's
have
gonna
a
make
Ferrari, I'm going to drive
this,
slow so nobody can see me. Look at me.
this is gonna make my day. Mm. Mm.
I never liked them sporty cars. I had a friend that used to have a Corvette back in the 80s, and he was a crazy guy. If you want to use it, he just trade cars with me. You take it. I never liked them. They're not comfortable. You're sitting way down low. You can't see nothing. I mean, they're nice for a short time, but they're not nothing you want to have, if you ask me, long term in them cars. I don't know. Not that I have the money to buy them anyways, but they weren't
Me
cars.
either. You know what? If I had the money to buy a Lamborghini, I truly wouldn't. I really wouldn't.
No, I'd buy something big and
There's
comfortable.
nothing about the car impresses me. I really wouldn't buy a Lamborghini.
Yeah, I'm a man anyways.
I can't think of a sport. I'd buy a newer Subaru. I'm serious.
Yeah,
I love my Subaru.
yeah,
I'll
whatever
never
you
get
like.
trapped in the snow in that thing. So yeah, I don't know.
You could fly over to Abu Dhabi and just claim one of the abandoned cars that are out there in the desert.
Well, that's true.
What are cars doing abandoned in the desert? What's going on with that?
So, like, some people will buy like a supercar, right? Because they get like a job, and they'll either lose the job or like one company will take another company over and they get downsized, which is the same thing as losing the job. So one of the laws in Abu Dhabi is if you're not in possession of the vehicle, they can't come after you for the debt on the car. So they just drive it out into the desert and leave it there.
So they can't repossess it.
The desert on a horse with no name.
You think they would repossess it some kind of way?
There's no need. There's so many of them over there. It's like they're common. They're so common. It's like something about Abu Dhabi. I don't know.
Money, a lot of money, I think, right?
Maybe.
I think so.
No, I'm sorry I couldn't spend more time with you guys. There's a few more things. I'm going to sign off here. I have a show at 7:30 Central Time. So what's that? It's an hour from now. So I want to make sure everything's done before I get on that show. And you going to keep going, Steven?
Yeah, but we're actually streaming through you right now, so we'll have to shut down your stream and I'll start streaming over on my channel again.
Okay. I might pop in and say goodnight to everybody, but I should have started packing yesterday. And see, the thing is, I don't know how long I'm going to stay down there. He's talking about a month. I said, no, son, I ain't staying a month. So, but this is one of them open-end visits. I really don't. I'm taking I'm taking a week's worth of clothes if I do stay longer. Yes, I will use his wash machine and dryer, Stephen.
Of course.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'll see you guys. Well, I'll pop in and say goodnight to everyone. All right.
All right,
man.
Pastor. Sounds good.
God bless you.
Much love, Pastor.
At least you got me to fold some. You got to see me fold some laundry and such. So anyway. All right, man. Talk to you guys later. God bless.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
I'll go live on my channel, guys.
Okay.
Okay, I'll meet you guys over there.
Much love.